Hello. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Guess what today is?
Wednesday.
Besides that, silly.
222.
222. It is 2222.
2222. Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
2222. 22
Chinese
or
New Year?
not 22.
Right. We're so happy to see you guys too. Thanks, Sasha. It's so good. Yeah, so today is yesterday was the Chinese New Year. Today is the 222 portal opening. Gotta love it. New moon in Aquarius. My birthday's like a week and one day. Haha.
Do you have big plans?
I sure do.
Ooh.
I'm going to probably order in food and chill out.
Eat pizza with my snakes. And that is not a euphemism.
Hang out with my boy, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm actually really my kid started school, so just I mean, I shouldn't say he started school. That makes him sound like he's 2 or something. So he hasn't been in school for 2 years. He finally went back yesterday, like, in person school, not online, for the first time. So it's kind of exciting, for him. I don't know. I think he's a little, he's like, oh, high school's big.
Yeah. Well, is this his first year of high school?
He's in grade 11, but because they had last year off,
right.
Yeah. So, well, not off, but he was online, for the last, 2 years, I guess. Right. So he hasn't been in high school yet. Hi, Roberta. Thank you for joining us. Just make sure that you guys, if you're watching on Facebook, that you go to the, Oracle Intuitions, YouTube channel. Make sure that you're a subscriber, and that way you can join in the chat. And also to make sure that you're watching the live chat, because I know somebody was having a problem with they're just watching the comments. And if you want to place a question or say anything, make sure that you're in the live chat. So it's wonderful to have everybody here. So what is the 222? Let's talk about that for a second. So 222, especially when we see it, it's a very strong angel number. A lot of people have put this to, the angel number, and really what it's talking about is balance. It's about harmony. If you look at the 2s in the tarot, for instance, so, the 2 of Pentacles is about balancing, right? It's about balancing. The 2 of Wands is about choosing a path. The 2 of Swords is being in a place of stagnancy, not knowing what to do. Do I do this? Do I do that? I don't know what to do, so I'm going to stay stagnant. And then we've got our favorite, which is the 2 of Cups. Everybody loves seeing the 2 of Cups in the tarot, which is about, peace, harmony, unity, partnership, right? It's about bringing in that perfect balance, that unconditional love. And so you guys make sure tonight to set your intentions. You don't need to do a great big ritual or anything like that, but you can if you wish. However, it's really about setting your intentions for the year ahead, and what it is that you want to draw in. What is it that you want to attract? What is it that you want to bring into your energy field? What is it that you want to achieve within this year? And this is the perfect time to do it. Remember to do it with a positive note.
Absolutely. It really is. we are always in relation to something. So even if, you may be single, or, you don't have this sort of balanced idea of a union with you and somebody else, we are always in relationship to something, even within the parts of our own selves. So there is, we exist in a world of duality as human beings with ego consciousness. And so there's always something that, you kind of are bouncing off of, or that there's a direct relationship that you have. So
Right.
for those of you, that might be like, oh, I don't want to do this because I don't have a relationship, or I don't do that. There's always something that you are relating to. And we do include all the relationships of friends, coworkers, family, people, role models, people you look up to, or people that you help or mentor. Those are just as important too. So don't shrug those off. Balance comes in so many different forms. And relationship comes in so many different forms, and we should really strive to get to that balance within ourselves, so that it is reflected outside of ourselves, of course.
I was literally just about to say that. A lot of times people, they get into this energy of, well, he's not doing this and he's not doing that, or this and that and the other thing. And we have to also look at ourselves and say, okay, well, am I in balance with what it is that I'm wanting, or what it is that I'm attracting? And I think that, that's something very important that sometimes we forget about, and sometimes that we just miss. We just tend to, we tend to look at the behavior of the actions of someone else. But remember that if we're in a good place of wanting to, here's the thing. People can come in with whatever energy they want, but what is it that we're going to accept? So if you don't like what they're bringing forward, just go, hey, I don't accept this.
Mhm.
This is not what it doesn't mean that we have to accept it. It's a matter of just being in that place of, what is it that I want? And if this is not what I want, then I don't need to have it. I don't need to say yes to this and move that energy away. And the more that you move that energy away, it's funny because the universe takes that. It's kind of like, think of it kind of like a computer. Okay. If I was to Google something and I started opening up all the links that I didn't want. Let's say I typed in shoes and I was getting, a whole variety of shoes that I didn't want. I was looking for something specific in shoes. But if I keep opening up those links, Google's going to keep sending me, or whatever browser you use is going to keep sending me the links for whatever it is that I'm pressing on, I'm clicking on. It's kind of like if we, use our phones and say, you know, show me furniture stores, right? We're going to keep getting furniture stores. If I want a specific furniture, then I'm going to ask for that. And it's sort of the same thing. If we keep accepting what is coming for us, and we get into this place of, this is all I get, or I only get players, or I only get this, or I only get that. Okay, but you keep accepting them. Okay. So it's basically move those aside and make a specific search entry, let's say, in the browser. And then the universe goes, oh, well, that's what she meant. Because, here's the funny thing. If you want a relationship, let's just say, okay, and you go, I want a relationship. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. Universe is going to send you all kinds of freaking relationships.
Mhm.
Literally, it is, right? You're going to all of a sudden have, inboxes and this and that. But are they quality? Right?
Absolutely. Is it
Right.
what you
You
want?
could say, I want a relationship, and then you get 10 messages going, what's up? Hey, what's up? Hey, you
Yeah.
could have a relationship with any one of these yahoos, but is that what
Mhm.
you want? No. So you specifically say, I want a relationship that is da 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 da. I want something happy and fulfilling, full of unity, unconditional love. I want something where there's equality and balance and all of this. Now the universe is going, oh, I get it. Oh, I get it. Okay, this is what she's looking for.
Mhm.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Although the conundrum here, the kink in the wrench, is when you ask for something and you're clear about it, I want this, I want unconditional love, I want this um, mutuality, I want all these other things. And then in order to get that, there's something within you that has to be healed, maybe a past trauma, maybe some
Right.
karma, something going on. So it might bring you something that you maybe didn't want
100%.
because it's here to teach you something because you haven't done the work on your own, or you may need, a relationship with another to learn that lesson or to understand. So even if you feel, I know a lot of my clients I've spoken to have talked about this, like, hey, but I'm manifesting this and I'm doing everything that everybody says. It's like, oh, okay, well, when's the last time you dug into your childhood and found out that, your sense of self-worth is crumbling under the feet of somebody else's determining factors here? It's like, what? I didn't think I had to do that. Well, yes, it's like a dam blocking the flow of water. You got to remove that dam so the rest can flow to you. So, there really is care in that saying, be careful what you ask for, because you might be brought it, but it might not look exactly how you thought it did either. That's the tough
Well,
part.
exactly. But it's also too is that sometimes these things come in just in order for you to clear out that shadow self. That's basically what you're saying, I think, right?
Yeah.
Is yeah, it's more or less, it's like if you ask for, partnership, unity, unconditional love, it's going to give you things that 100% you have to work through first.
If you have not done that already, a
If
lot
you
of
have
people
not done the
neglect.
work for it, right?
A lot of
Yeah.
people neglect all that self inner work, because it's
Hmm.
awkward, it's uncomfortable, it's weird. It puts us in very weird positions, but it's when you do that, when you really focus on, that relationship with yourself, however that relationship is, directly manifests into love relationships with others. So I think it's such a beautiful time to think about this sort of symbiotic nature that we have with our internal and external, the as above, so below, microcosm, macrocosm, within, without, really considering these almost dualistic concepts and how they kind of wrap into it's all that same scale, right? Fear and love. It's that same scale. It's just what side of that spectrum do you fall on?
Hmm.
This really is that a great time, I think, for this reminder of, how we come into balance with ourselves. And just in the examples that we were talking about, all of these things that maybe were brought to you after your manifestation, they are bringing you balance, they are bringing you alignment. It just can be a little bit weird to see, but that's also why people like Kathy and myself are here. We're here to help tune in, we're here to help really look at the matter, look at the energy, look at all the emotions and things going on, and look into the roots of you and to the connection, and looking at everything that we can possibly find to help you to, create that sense of alignment. So, of course, as always, if you want to get in touch with me and book a reading with me, you can visit me at thedreamteacher.com. You can set up appointments there, shoot me a message, and I'd love to talk with you.
And if you guys want to get a hold of me, you can contact me through www.oracleintuitions.com. I actually just updated my website, so I'm so excited. I
It was great.
really love it. So, yeah, Melody asks, what's your way of doing shadow work? I tend to find writing helpful. I love that. Yeah, writing is really, writing can be very cathartic. It can also really bring out things that you really didn't expect, especially if you do it in a sense of writing without boundaries. A lot of times we tend to I can be really bad for that. I can sit there and I'll sometimes be writing and then I get into the grammar and I get into this and I get into that. And then I realize that's probably my way of just distracting myself from actually doing the deep dive. So I'll be so focused on this that I'm not
Hmm.
doing the deep dive that I actually
Hmm.
need to do. So, for me, a lot of times I'll ask literally, what is it that I need to know? And I'll start getting, the feelings or the energy, or it's like that solar plexus gut kind of feeling. and it'll be uncomfortable. And it's like, okay, we gotta, it's like wearing an itchy sweater or something. And you're just like, okay, what is it that I have to look at? And then it starts kind of just, coming up, and it goes into your, your memory. It might come into, your perception. Maybe somebody might message you out of like thin air. Maybe it's a phone call, whatever it is, but it will be shown to you. And that's where you kind of go, okay, thanks, I get it. time to dig.
There's so many different ways, I think, to do shadow work. For me, I do a lot, I have clinical training in hypnotherapy, and one of the things we do is regression. And I really like using a sort of regression, or I'll even do past life. I'll even do life between life sometimes. And, I'll work and kind of dig into specific memories. Really, shadow work does involve a lot of memory work, very watery kind of realm. It's like a water air mix energy there. And yeah, I'll dig in, I'll figure out what that core memory is, and the belief that may be attached to the memory, and an emotion that spawned from that, and really find that purpose, rewrite some of those moments. And then you can do that. I find a lot of shamans actually it's a very similar shamanic approach to doing what's it called? Soul retrieval is what they call it in shamanism. But I essentially do the same thing with hypnotherapy. And then we, work with that child, or however, young or old that person was in that memory, and bring them up to speed, bring them up to right now. And it really is beneficial. I've done quite a few regressions with people, and they have always been very, like you said, Kathy, cathartic is a great word to explain it and describe that.
It can be, it can definitely be a challenging thing, and not something that, here's the thing is that, a lot of times people will say, I'm ready for the work. And then the work comes and they'll be like, oh, what the hell did I just ask for? Right. And so, we have to be ready. We have to be ready for that work. And it doesn't mean, it doesn't involve reaction. It involves inner reflection. And sometimes people get that confused. It'll be like something will come up and they'll react in a physical way, or they'll react in a social media type of way. And I mean, we've all seen that on social media posts. It's like, I'm thinking about this past love from like 20 years ago, blah. And you're like, what the hell is this post about? Like, not everybody needs to see, your soul work. Your soul work is for you. It doesn't need to be for, good for you, for addressing it. But it's when we start social media in it, that's basically just another way of distraction.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we're waiting for the responses to come in, so that we're, I've seen this so many times. I'll see these, random weird posts, and you're just like, okay, I'm just going to keep scrolling today, because this isn't, I don't know what this is about, and I'm not going to engage in this. Right. To me, that's drama. Right. And when you're creating a drama for the response, basically what's happening is, again, you're dismissing, or you're distracting yourself, because all of those comments coming in are giving you like a pat on the head saying, it's okay, you don't need to do the work. Right? All these people coming through and going, oh, good for you, or oh, poor thing, or oh yeah, he did you dirty, or whatever junk is coming up. Right? All that is just a nice little pat on the head going, you don't need to do the shadow work, honey. And now you're spending another hour or 2 or 10 commenting back, or whatever it is, instead of actually doing the work. And a lot of people really don't see that, but it's funny. It's kind of like, it's kind of like those people that you'll see, and we all have them. They're in a relationship one day, and then a week later, and then they're, you see like 800 million posts of the love of my life. and we broke up. And then the miserable posts about, what a, dick he or she is, blah, blah, blah. And then the next week they're like, I'm engaged. And then they're broken up. And you know what I mean? Like, because they're not doing the inner work. Nobody's doing that inner work. It's just easy. It's easy to just be in this place of, oh, hey, great. You're distracting me, so I don't have to go back and do this.
Absolutely. It's just important to do your own work, take care of yourself, know thyself, create that balance in yourself so that you do not have to take steps backwards in your relationships unless you purposely want to do that. It's just so much better as a generalization to heal yourself, know yourself, come to balance within yourself, and then, to heal those traumas, then share yourself with another person so that you don't have to have these interactions back and forth of like, why did she say that? And why did he do that? And why this reminds me of my mother? And I just wish you didn't, like it's so much better. So you don't have those kind of triggers. Jenny says, tell me why I've been looking to the black void I asked you about, Brandon, not realizing it's part of lucid dreaming. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, when we go into lucid dream, all of our own consciousness and our interactions in the dream world, they're very independent and unique to us as much as our perception and consciousness is in the waking life. And when you see that black void, that's a good one, because that kind of means that you're like really being sucked into this other realm. You're really drifting. And for me, that's personally a success, because it's like, all right, cool. That's what I'm trying to do, is go into other realms of consciousness, where no man has gone before. It's always an exciting feeling for me when I see something new in a dream realm, or even in the psychic realm when I'm connecting with people. I always get so excited when I connect with someone who's like so open in that moment and I see things differently than I usually do. Those are always like, the coolest moments. I love those.
Absolutely. It was funny because a lot of people, concentrate really hard on timelines, right? When is this going to happen? And the hard part is that sometimes spirit shows us something. They'll show us, and we can be very sometimes really exact on timelines, but sometimes also too is that it's a matter of somebody being in the balance of receiving that timeline. There might still be some work, so we can see where that time is coming through, or what it is, to some degree that spirit is trying to get through to us. But at the same time, sometimes there's just things that need to be, and it might not even be on your side. It might sometimes be on the other person's side. And a lot of people will say, well, I'm ready, or I'm in this place of accepting, or whatever it is. But it's sometimes that the universe will have that person ready, but they're not quite ready. They might have some work or some, karmic energy that they've got to remove themselves with. And a lot of people will say, well, why don't they just come forward now? Well, because if they do, this could actually wreck the long-term goal of what is supposed to happen. So let's say somebody's in another relationship, for instance, they might have to actually work through that issue or clear up all the loose ends of that karmic situation before they can take that step forward. And it could come forward perhaps now, but if you're asking again, if you're in that place of you've done your, Google line of exactly what it is that you would, that you want, and you're asking for a full and balanced and fulfilling relationship, then them coming forward at that particular time might not be the right time, simply because they've got their own loose ends that they have to clear up, heal, or tie up. But
that's why we're here too. We're here to help y'all figure that out.
100%. So we do have the lottery list going, guys. Make sure that you guys have put your names, your birth signs, the other person's name and birth sign if this is a love reading. Also make sure that You put your question in there. Try to make it, sort of specific. I'm going to be honest, guys, by the time we get to the lottery questions, sometimes I'm burnt out. So trying to, that happened last week. I don't know what the heck happened last week. There was so much, but I was literally in this place of like, holy cow, like I am drained. I was just drained. So you might want to be a little bit more like, not like it's not that we don't want to do general questions. It just might, a general question after a couple of hours, just, it may not be happening. So try to be specific, please, especially if you're in for the lottery. Now remember, you guys, if you want a guaranteed reading, it is a $10 donation. Make sure that it's sent to the Dream Teacher on PayPal. If you're in Canada, send it through e-transfer to crogers5555@gmail.com. And I think that's it for
If
right
you're over
now.
on Facebook or I Want to Believe YouTube channel, please pop over to Oracle Intuitions. If you do wish to receive a reading, that is where I will be receiving your questions. Remember, like Kathy said, put your first name, your date of birth, or your zodiac sign, and your question in the chats, and just be clear in what you're looking in a reading for. Otherwise, I'll do the general stuff, and I'm going to tap into something general. And just so you know, I look right at your core and skeleton. So if you're not ready for that kind of intensity,
100%.
sometimes
It might
just
not be the question that
be
you
clear.
want answered. So, and that's the thing,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Like when people ask for a general question, or a general, a general reading, it might not be anything that you want to hear. This is going to be general. It's going to be what we're being told or shown or whatever it is. It's going to be kind of what your guides want to say, rather than if you have a specific question in regards to somebody, and try to, give us a little bit of background, I guess. Not background, we don't need the whole background story, but just like if you're together, if you're not together, like give
And
us
if you're
something.
asking about somebody else, their zodiac as well, that helps.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
If you have donated, please let us know that you have donated in the chat. Also, if you've donated and I don't have your question, please submit your questions now. So everybody, you should all be submitting your questions now. If you are listening in and want to get a reading, again, pop over to Oracle Intuitions YouTube. Hit the subscribe. Everybody hit that like button for us. And I think that's it on my end.
Yeah, I think so. So we'll be back in about 3 minutes, guys. We're just going to, grab some coffee, grab some water, and get everything organized, and we'll be right back. Thanks. We're back.
Woohoo!
I love this comment. Thank you, Melody. She said, she says, this is my favorite show. Love being here. We love having you here. Thank you. To us.
Is anybody else in this path of the winter storm? I'll tell you, here in Austin, the grocery stores have been packed and out of stock for like 2 days. You're literally waiting in line for hours just to get through. Because, last year, I don't know if y'all saw, Texas went out of power, out of commission everywhere. It was a mess. So everybody is like triggered and feeling the trauma.
Triggered and ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
That's
They were
hilarious.
not ready for this. They were not ready.
It was cold here today. I actually got to tell you guys something funny. So I was outside earlier, and I was at the store, and somebody, I was kind of like, dressed down or something. It was like a Walmart moment, and let's just say that. And somehow, the conversation of me working from home, I was talking to Dre, and somebody says, oh, it must be nice to be able to work from home when it's cold like this. And I said, yeah, I have a YouTube channel. And I told them what channel it was. And she says, I watch you.
What?
I was like, what? And I said, oh, wow. Well, I don't exactly look like I do on the show right now. It was like I said, it was like, I was having like a little bit of a Walmart moment.
But she's
spotting. Like, I thought I recognized you. But I couldn't place it. And I was like, that is so cool. Yeah. So she's never been on the chat, just
right.
Yeah. So that was actually pretty cool. I was like, what?
That is amazing. Now that means you're gonna have to step up your dress game if you're being recognized.
No more sweats to the store. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, but it was funny because actually the lady that was doing my website, she was telling me, she was saying, and she's just amazing. By the way, her name is Mo Montgomery. And if anybody wants, to do a website, just, contact me. I'll get you in touch with her. She's amazing. But basically she was saying that YouTube doesn't show all the algorithms of people watching. So we actually don't. It might show, 7, 15, 20, whatever it is, that's watching, but it's not showing the actual algorithm of people watching. So that's actually kind of cool. I didn't know that. So
that is interesting. I remember you made that comment, about more people than we had thought. Somebody had told you there's like more people watching than we had thought. And, I'll be honest, I don't fully know how all these algorithms and anything works. I know that they're programs. I know that, they've got their own thing, but I swear, I think they just keep changing them up constantly on purpose all the time just to mess with us.
Right.
Keep us on our toes.
Exactly.
For those of you that are in the chat here and you see your name on that lottery list, that is not the order of readings. That is your number. So when we do the lottery, I use a random number generator, and we will put those in, and whatever numbers get picked, that's your. So pay attention. If I call it number 1 or number 4, number 6, whatever it is, that means you've won. You can clap, you can celebrate, you can jump up and down. Just make sure you're in the chat and make sure it's live. So if you're not up to current speed, make sure you refresh your browser, and make sure you're here with us during the live time. So we have a little bit of interaction. It is a little bit delayed, so bear with that for those of you veterans here. But other than that, I think that's it.
I think that's it. So our first reading tonight is with Jessica, and Jessica, I'm going to read it. Actually, I'm going to let Brandon start this one off because Jessica is a friend of mine. So I'd like to get an opinion. We like to get, because Brandon is objective. I'm a friend.
Not
I'm objective, but of course, hey, Miguel, good to see you. So Jessica's question is about her and Nico. She wants to know, she said it's been about 3 months since they've, been in contact with each other. Is there still hope for this? Do you still see anything happening? And what is he thinking of her?
All right, Jessica. So right away, the very first thing that I keep feeling in the energy between you and Nico here is the sense that balance has taken precedence. And it feels like it could be seen or perceived as a sort of stagnation, but energetically, all that kind of movement, it has really settled into this place of like, okay, let's just be. I keep getting this specific vision of seeing this tree, and I feel both of your backs resting upon it, but you're on like opposite sides, if that makes sense. And it almost seems like you don't even know that the other is there. Like the tree feels that large, where it's like, one person could be on one side, the other on the other, and you don't even know that you're fully there. So this automatically denotes a sense of, one, balance, but two, acceptance, and accepting kind of where things are. I do get a lot of abundant energy, and I want to figure out where the source of it is, because I am being shown it's in the energy between the two of you, but I feel like this might also be coming more from you, Jessica, this feeling of abundance. I'm feeling like a abundance of, I don't know, it's like it feels very zealous. And then, of course, if things have been, not in contact with Nico or whatever, there is that inherent balance. But let me kind of tap into Nico here. Let me see where he is with his thoughts, his feelings towards you. So I do feel an immediate sense of friction in him in response to your energy, your connection. It feels like something feels off with his own personal comfort level or foundation. And what Spirit keeps showing me is that there is a perception of his that is being transformed, but I feel like something was manipulated in his perception of you. And this does feel outside of himself. And what I keep seeing and what I keep being shown with him is like he's waiting to see something different. There is a lot of need for stimulation with Nico. Like something really has to almost confuse him to create a sense of intrigue. And it feels like there is this, there's an energy of holding back. But here's what's interesting. Even though I feel this zealousness coming from you, Jessica, it feels like he seems like you're holding back in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And now with this outside information or this outside perception, it's like somebody's trying to twist how he thinks of things, but he's still not listening to it. That's not his truth. That's not his truth and his perception about you. So the point being, there seems to be a lot going on energetically, and there's a lot going on as far as talking and other people giving information. Let me ask where his intentions are, because that's gonna answer your question here directly. As far as if things want to come forward, if he has any plans for anything or what. So hang on, let me tap into his like intention, his desire in connection with you. It feels, I do feel him sort of being across purpose, across energy, but the main intention here is that he does feel that there is some kind of sign or spiritual significance that he's wanting to see. I can feel him sense it in some way. What Spirit is showing me is that he needs to feel it in the positive and in the positive way. So it honestly makes sense if you're kind of both resting there on opposite sides. He's questioning, the foundation of the connection. He's questioning, how comfortable that he feels with you, but he needs to feel this sign of like, oh, okay, that seems extremely clear. That feels like exactly, either what I have been asking for or what I was clearly or directly waiting to see. So it's interesting. I want to go back to that one thing real quick about this weird dichotomy of like your energy being zealous, but also held back. This gives me an impression that you're putting energy into something that is not giving you a return, and you're not putting energy actually towards Nico, and that you're that's what's creating this weird dichotomy. It's like a total mismatch. It's like the gears are totally mismatched. Like energy is going out somewhere else, and not being fed to Nico. So I can totally see why he like feels a little bit of friction, feels like the foundation isn't fully solid there, feels like that comfort level is not there. So this is a tough one. You know, I would definitely call you to really focus on where your own energy is going. So that way it can be, I don't know, you know, if this is your idea, your goal, your path, and what you want to pursue, then you got to check yourself. You got to check yourself and figure out, okay, where's all my energy going and what am I truly invested into? Because there's definitely a mismatch right here. But I can tell you there is still interest. There is a sort of soul desire. You know, if he's looking for some kind of outside, external, spiritual sign, that means there's still an intention, that there is still desire there. And it's not coming from a superficial place. But this is the time to really check your energy right now. Just like Kathy and I were saying in the beginning of the show, what's that relationship you have with the self? Make sure that energy is going where you want it to go. And you got to check yourself sometimes.
Hey, Naomi, it's good to see you. Glad you're here. Anybody watching again on Facebook or the I Want to Believe channel, make sure that you go to Oracle Intuitions on YouTube. And just make sure you click subscribe. If you do want a priority reading, which means that you'll get a guaranteed reading, it is a $10 donation. All the information is scrolling across the bottom of our screen. If you want to be put into the lottery, just put your name, your birth sign, your question, the other person's birth sign and question, if there's another person involved. So, okay, so Jessica, it's interesting that Brandon really picked up on a lot of things that I've actually already said to you. And it feels as though I'm going to just hit on something that Brandon said. It's like he's looking for something. Nico's looking for something. How did you describe that again? It's like he's waiting for that sign. It's like he's waiting for that thing, you know, to come through. And this is very similar to what I had, you know, talk to you in regards about. It seems like, you know, just with, you know, let's just use social media as an example. It feels as though you're posting more for the, like, wanting the reaction as opposed to what it is that is truly important to you. And you might think that it's important to you, but you're also waiting for the reaction. Do you see what I mean? So basically what that does is, you know, something can be important to you, but if it's also, you know, you're only placing it, again, because you know it's an interest to them, it might be a mutual interest. But at the same time, if you're waiting for that reaction, you know what? I just post, honestly, I'll tell you something. I don't give a flying F what anybody thinks about my posts. I'm just going to throw them out there. So, you know, sometimes it's a good reaction. Sometimes it's not a good reaction from just people in general. But it's got to be for you. It has to be for you. And completely 100%. I mean, if it's something funny, you know, if it's something hilarious, if it's, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, if it's rude, if it's insult, whatever, you know, this is about you. This is about you. And again, not waiting for a reaction to come through. It's like, but I really feel like at this point, what needs to kind of happen is very similar to what Brandon had said. It's like, you almost, when I saw those two, Brandon was talking about the trees, you being on one side, you know, it almost feels like you have to separate your energy from Nico, but you also have to separate it from that past relationship that was really going nowhere, because it's still connected to that in some way. And because your energy is flowing, you know, there's disappointment or whatever it is that's still being directed towards that. And you know, even though we go, well, I'm healing, if we're still asking about it, we're not healing. Because when you're healed, you're in a place of, I don't care what this person thinks about me. Like, I don't, you know, you're removing the sadness, you're removing the negativity, you just don't care. You literally don't care. It's like, go do you do whatever you want to do. I don't need to know. I don't need revenge. I don't need satisfaction. I don't need closure. Closure is within yourself. And a lot of people get really confused with that. Closure is within you. When you slam that door, you've made a closure. You don't need any response from somebody, because when you're waiting for that response for somebody, you're not giving yourself that own closure. And that's exactly what's needed. Slam the door and just move forward. Literally, done. I don't care. I don't care what they put me through for years and years and years and years. You're literally in that place of, this is what I want. This is what I'm, and I do feel that there's a lot of energy here that is focusing in on the negative, and that needs to be healed and removed in order for this connection with Nico to take that step forward. I feel like that's really important. A lot of times we don't understand the personal healing, but again, the healing is when we get to that place of, I just don't care. I just don't care. And then you're healed. You're healed. That's it. And I think that that's going to be super, super important. Also, I do feel very similar to what, how did you say it in regards, do you know what this other interference is coming through?
No, it just, I could feel, when I see this path directly towards Nico, where I'm feeling Jessica's energy going is this sort of diversion, and it goes like up and beyond and above his sphere, his plane. So it's like this total diversion, and the energy is not connecting. It's not meeting on that same plane. So that's all I was seeing in that regards.
Okay.
So it's just, we just got to make sure we know where our energy is going. It's a huge thing. It's very important.
Sometimes we have to remember that our subconscious is running a program. So where's that program? And I feel like this is really important. If our subconscious is running in a program of the past or past hurt or past pain or whatever it is, it's a constant loop, right? So we got to break that loop. We got to break that loop, do the healing, and focus in on what it is that we're wanting to create. But again, I do feel a very positive energy towards between you and Nico. I feel still that there's going to be it almost feels like as soon as you guys somehow, get together in person, that's where the conversation really picks up, because it just feels like social media, for whatever reason, is just not.
I keep having this vision of something that's totally unexpected. And
Yeah.
when I was connecting with him, his desire, his intention, I know we got to move on, but when I was connected with that and him waiting for that sort of spiritual affirmation, it's so clear that it's going to be a moment that's totally unexpected. You like run into each other. There's no sense of control over the moment or the situation. It's literally like this random chance. But all it needs, and I think the reason why I was being shown what I was shown, is that they're trying to get you to be in the flow. Because when you're in this right flow versus resisting and going something, totally different, or your attention being diverted, your focus being diverted somewhere else, you won't be in that space to have that chance occurrence, that spiritually, divinely timed moment, that you couldn't ever recreate, that only spirit can do. That's what's waiting to happen. And I can see that coming up. You just got to get yourself in your flow, get into that good space of knowing your energy, knowing yourself, being self-actualized, really sinking in that. So I would stay focused there. Focus on the self, that inner relationship with the self, because remember, it does what? It reflects outside of you. And that's what you're looking for, is that deep spiritual connection. I can feel it. It's like your soul's purpose is to find that, but you're never going to find it until you align it in yourself first. It will always be that way. Always.
Okay. I'm just adding here to the list. I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. We have
Yeah,
Kay.
I've got
Andrea, Luna, Miguel, Nami, Lee. Lee, I'm just wondering, sorry, I don't want to, you can message me privately if you want. I don't see the donation. I'm not sure exactly where you sent it to. So I wasn't sure if it was through
Yeah, I don't see
PayPal
it either.
or if it was through e-transfer. So I'm just, sometimes it takes a minute or two to show up. So just make sure that you've put the right address in there, or the right email address or whatever. And we will go from there. So Kay.
All right, here the questions are coming in for Kay now.
So she says, hang on a second, I'm just trying to get this done. I feel a connection to a coworker named Amanda. Do you see anything coming out of us? Love, friends, or is it in my head and she feels nothing my way? What is Amanda's birth sign? And also, is this the same lady that we've spoken about in the past? I don't know.
I don't think so. Well, I'm not sure, but I don't think that's the same. I thought it was another K, I believe.
Okay. Maybe we'll just get confirmation for that first.
Yeah.
And go on from there.
Yeah, okay. Not the same one.
Not the same one. Okay. All right. And she's just going to find out the birth sign. What's Kay's birth sign again?
Virgo. Kay's
Okay.
Virgo.
Okay. Cool. All right. This is a new person. What is she feeling? So the first thing that actually comes through here now, hey Cliff, good to see you. It's interesting actually. I do feel with this lady. First of all, I really feel a friendship at first. Like this keeps seeming to come through. I feel this like very strong bond. I almost want to say like you guys could probably, I don't know if you guys have had conversations before, if you guys are just starting to get to know each other. It almost feels like one of those connections where you could spend hours talking to each other, like just chatting and having a good time and just, really like getting to know each other. Like it really feels like like this could turn into a very strong friendship first. I'm just going to ask you, Kate, is there someone connected to her in some way? I'm not sure if this is like a romantic partner of some sort, or if it just feels like I don't even know, maybe it's a child, like, because it does feel like there's some sort of, it feels like somebody around her. I don't know if it's romantic, though. It could have been romantic at one point. She's engaged, but not sure she's in love with him fully. Okay, there we go. Because I did feel like she has a fiance and a child. Okay, because it did feel like there's like her energy is sort of flowing towards something, I guess is the best way to say it, like towards some sort of connections. I do feel with the fiance, I mean, the child, that goes without saying. There's a deep, 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 love there, of course. I do feel with the fiance that she's a little, I don't know if they've been together for a long time, but it almost feels like an obligation to some degree with her. And it you know what? It really feels like just the daily grind. That's what it feels like. It feels like the daily grind with this connection. And I kind of feel like, again, between the two of you, it does feel like this could really turn into a beautiful, beautiful friendship. Is she going to stay with him? You know what? I'm going to be honest. I feel like I don't feel her really particularly leaving anything at the moment. Simply because, again, I do feel like there's some sort of obligation here. There's some sort of responsibility. It feels like, they're sort of in this place of, I don't know. I don't get that she's all that interested in him anymore. I mean, I think that there was a love between them, and I don't think there's anything wrong with their relationship. I don't feel like, there's anything bad there, but I do feel it might take a while. It might take a while. I can't say for sure. I'm going to be honest. I can't say for sure if she's going to stay. I do feel, here's the thing though. I feel like this connection between the two of you could be very, very significant for the both of you. When you ask, will she end up falling for me? I feel like this is going to be a duality connection. Okay. Like the both of you really feeling the same. Now, here's the interesting thing is when you say, I don't want to ruin anything for her, you can't. You can't. Simply because of the fact that it's going to be her choice whether or not she wants to leave him or not. You're not going to ruin anything. Basically, if anything, it's going to be redirected towards you, if that makes any sense. A lot of people will get into this place of, well, I mean, here's the thing. If you were throwing yourself at somebody and you're basically not backing off when they say back off, or you're purposely, gossiping or lying to ruin a connection, that's how you're going to ruin a connection. Right? Somebody just coming to you and you having and building this bond between the two of you, that's a different thing. I'm not saying that I advocate for, people running out and finding new friends to have a connection or a bond with. I do feel that people need to work on their interconnect or their connections of the people that they're with first, right? I'm always going to advocate for that. But at the same time, you're not going to ruin something just simply because I don't feel that it would fade out. I feel that you're hesitant in having I feel you're holding back a bit because of the fact that there's some fear within you, like, will this work out? All of that. But what I keep getting here is that there needs to be that relationship first, if that makes any sense. I hope that it like that friendship. So, Brandon, do you pick up anything?
Yeah, I don't know if you sent your second question because I see several questions within the chat here. So if you have sent that, please let us know. But if you haven't sent that second question in, please send that now. Because our list is kind of growing here. We might have to cap off our list soon. But when I tap into the energy with you and Amanda, there is this immediate sense of familiarity. I love that vibe. I love that bond. There does feel to see. It seems like you've known each other before, whether it was previously in this life or some kind of past life. It is that sense of familiarity that I feel keeps drawing you two together. When I'm looking at Amanda, I am feeling a bit of an emotional detachment. Actually, I feel that there is this feeling of like wanting to ride in and conquer this with more of a logic sort of right. What is it? Right brain? No. Left brain headspace, more logic base. And there's still this sort of almost enigmatic energy that she can feel in connection with you. Like when I'm looking at her intentions, her desires towards you, what I'm shown here is that there is just this really strong positivity, but she doesn't fully understand it. She doesn't know why. She doesn't know what to even do with it. A lot of the connection feels undefined for her. So she's just keeping it at a safe space is really the main energy I feel of where she's holding it. Now, as far as what's to come in the future, if something's going to happen or what's going to go on, I am shown a lot of social energy. I do feel, again, there does seem to be this friendship level right now. And also what I'm shown is that there is going to be sort of there will be a moment or probably several moments, to be honest with you, where it feels like there's this psychic connection, like this intuitive understanding of one another. And this is what I'm shown may cause some distance, because there is going to be a lot of question in Amanda about, well, what does this even mean? What's going on? I do feel her having a little bit of a detachment with the emotional part. So there's definitely no pushing here. There's definitely no pushing of any kind. There really is a great rapport and familiarity with one another. As far as how I'm seeing things, I would not push anything past friendship right now and really let her take the reins on that. Like Kathy was saying, when she knows, you're going to know, for sure. But I just want you to, I don't want you to do anything. Be respectful, obviously, but I'm being shown to definitely keep it at that sort of friendship surface level, because as you start to get into the deeper moments, which are going to happen, you're going to see her energy kind of pull back a little bit. So just kind of be conscious of it. Be careful.
Mm-hmm.
And what's that second question? Because we gotta keep moving on, keep moving forward here. I got some Sarahs coming in. Hi, Sarah and Sarah Carnies. Yes, Emily, we are on donations. And okay, Jenny. Mwah. So yeah, this is why. Okay, here we go. What is going to be like?
Right. What is it going to be like when I meet my future wife or the one? Okay, so here's the honest truth. When you meet them, it will you're not even going to question it. I really feel this. You're not even going to question it. It just feels like you're just going to know. You're just going to know. I really keep feeling for you, Kay. As much as you want a relationship right now, I really feel like there is some personal time, I guess is the best way to say it. Like that it's like a personal strength coming towards you. And we've talked about this a little bit before. And I really feel like um I keep getting the word questions in your head, like questions in regards to yourself or questions in regards to, like, there's still some things that I feel like you need to explore within yourself, like to make yourself in this place of feeling very happy and comfortable with yourself. I'm going to tell you, I do feel a person or someone coming in about this year, like within this year. Like I still feel that. It just feels like these first few months are a little bit of as we talked about at the beginning of the show, like the balance, unifying with yourself, growing with yourself. But I feel like when this person comes in, I keep feeling that this is going to build from some sort of almost like a friendship. Like you're really going to take your time getting to know this person, or they're going to take their time. Like it's not going to be, oh, I told him come in person August. So I like that because of the fact that like later in the year, you know what I mean? It's not the end of the year, but I just feel like these few months right now are all about Kay, all about Kayla, all about Kayla. Like, Kayla learning and growing and doing the personal work for herself. And then when you get to that point, it's just there's not going to be any question about it. I just feel you're going to know, and they're going to know as well. That's truly what I feel, and it might even stem from a very deep friendship, or having
Yeah,
that ability to have that very deep friendship.
yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Kathy. This is definitely the time for Kay to really get her roots, and to be in that space. There's other things changing. I remember, from our last reading, and that feels quite important. But to answer your question here, when I connect here with when you meet the one, when you meet the person that you're supposed to be with, Spirit shows me that it literally opens up a place within your heart that you did not even know was there. Like it feels like this whole new energy. It opens you up in such a deeply intimate way that you feel as if there's no separation between yourself and this other person. You still have your own individuality, but you can feel, that sensation where if you're in a really deep meditation, or you're in this really like beautiful, almost out of body state, you feel like when you breathe, the lung outside of your body is the same as the lung inside, or the air inside of your body in your lungs is the same as the air outside of your body. It's like you're breathing from the lungs and not the mouth. It's the weirdest sensation. It's so blended that you become one with it. Or better yet, if you're in a flotation tank, sensory deprivation tank, and you're floating there, the temperature of the water and the air are all the same. So it literally feels like you're just like floating in this nothing, in this void. It's literally that blended where you can't even tell the difference. There's a sense of no separation there. And this is what Spirit keeps showing me. You're going to feel this sensation. And if you have to ask if you're in it, you're probably not there. You know what I mean? Like it's an instant knowing. You're like, whoa, oh my gosh, there is no question of doubt about this in the slightest. So it's going to be a very clear sensation for you. Don't fabricate it. Don't try and make it happen. You know, don't try and get there. Let it just be, because it's literally going to open up to you and you'll be like, holy shit. Oh my God, he was right. Oh my God. So just hang out for it. And that's what you should strive for. And again, I cannot stress this enough. If you want to bring something like this to your life, you know, if you are trying to bring these relationships, for all of you that are listening, work on that one with yourself first. Work on that sensation in yourself first, because the outside world will always reflect what is going on internally. It is like the magic secret. It is the trick. It is the ace up the sleeve. That is always the best way to manifest anything.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to close off the reading list for tonight, because I know, how in the hell do I do this? Oh, never mind. Okay.
And you forgot Love Tea in there. Love Tea has donated.
Oh, did Love Tea put it? Oh, sorry.
She's after Namie.
Okay.
Did we confirm Lee? I didn't see Lee's donation on my end.
I'm getting her to just check it. So there may have been an issue. She did send it, but I think it might have had an issue. So, okay. Sorry,
and
guys,
Sarah, do we have two Sarahs as well? Got one Sarah with an A, one Sarah with an H. Again, if you have donated, please submit your question with your first name, your zodiac sign, and if you're asking about somebody else, their first name and zodiac sign, and then your question in the chat. So please put them all together there, so that way I can keep it nice and orderly and neat as we move forward, so we don't have any hiccups. We just keep moving through.
And yes, everybody's good.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Andrea is next.
Thank you, Kay. And please tell us when you get to that feeling.
I hope that helps. Excited. Really, honestly, I like the time focusing on yourself is gonna, people go, well, yeah, but that sounds like so long, or it feels like so long until this person, but it's just such a different, when you're focusing in on yourself, when you're working on yourself, you're actually bringing that energy of what it is that you're desiring to you faster than not being in that energy of working on yourself, right? Because if you're not working on yourself, if you're not doing the things that you need to do the healing or the confidence or whatever it is, you're actually just delaying. You're just delaying that love coming towards you. So I hope that helps. Andrea, what was Andrea's question? Hi, Andrea.
Andrea, Pisces. Greg, also Pisces. Just want to know what Spirit says about us. What are his true intentions and feelings?
Has something happened in the last week or so, Andrea? Because I'm getting his energy seems stronger for some reason. Like, has there been more communication or something like that? Like I don't know how to describe this. It feels like, he came back 2 weeks ago. It feels like, sorry for swearing, feels like he's got his shit together finally. Like something about this, like he's coming closer. He's getting his crap together. I'm getting some feedback here. Sorry. He's looking at this connection. I feel there is still hesitancy in some way from him. I feel like this is his own inner fear, whatever. We always hear about this own inner fear. It's like, get over it, dude. Why do you have to, like, what are you fearful about? Oh, it drives me crazy. Like, what the hell are you scared of? Like, grow up. But sorry, that was my personal rant. It does feel as though, it's interesting. He's reminding me right now of some sort of animal. Like, I want to say like a ferret or something like that. Not because of the energy of a ferret, but it almost feels like there's this energy of him wanting to get your attention. Or how a ferret will like run around and run all over you and run all over the room. But then they're like, they kind of stop and they're like, are you watching me? Are you watching me? Are you watching me? Hey, like a little kid, kind of like that type of energy. And so I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, but it almost feels like his energy is how, it's like trying to get your attention or trying to draw you in some way. I almost feel like he's kind of showing off a little bit. So I don't know exactly what he's doing. You may have to confirm, this for me in some manner, Andrea, because this is the energy that I keep getting coming in. His intentions feel like he's kind of Namey. He's trying to, sneak closer. Okay, sneak closer, come closer. It's interesting because there's almost more energy coming from him towards you to some degree than there is towards you, towards him. Like, you have the interest in him, but now it's time for him to step up. That's what I get. It's time for him to step up. And I feel like he's getting he has opened up more and has changed a little bit. Communication is like a ferret. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, you know what? I feel like he's finding the energy, the bravery to come forward is what I keep getting. To communicate more, to open up a little bit more. He does feel quite reserved within his energy at times. And what I mean by that, it's almost scared. Like, there's this energy of not wanting to, like, really reveal himself, and that's not because of you. It just feels like he's a little bit more reserved. I don't know. It's like he's scared if he opens up or really, lets out his heart or really, says what he feels or all of that stuff, that there's going to be disappointment. So there's an energy of being reserved here. Brandon, what do you get?
Well, that's definitely one of the first things I pick up on is some difficulty in communication. I'm feeling a lot of emotions, but I'm feeling a difficulty in the expression of the emotions. And because there is some kind of, it feels like chatter more than it feels like depth. And what I keep seeing is that it's because there's actually a lot more happening psychically between the two of you. And so the words are getting like mismatched. They're kind of being put into this like realm. It's like being thrown into the deep end. And, you're trying to grab all those right words, but they kind of just keep falling deeper and deeper down into the water until you kind of lose them. And then the moment passes and then you can't fully express the emotion the way it was being felt in that same way. So definitely a focus on communication is really needed right now. You two can blend so easily with one another that you can literally lose yourselves in each other. So definitely be careful. Really, this would be your point of focus. This is going to be your sort of, I don't know, the area that you can always come back to. I don't know why I keep seeing this vision. You're building it like a bridge, and you want to be able to build that bridge so things can rest upon it and go over it and transfer through it, et cetera, et cetera. So that's going to be your point of focus in moving this relationship, helping it along. When I'm looking specifically at Greg, though, I feel him being very direct and very clear. Is like, this is the box. This is my home. This is my foundation. And when I'm looking at his intentions, I'm being shown that his intention, his desire, is to really stop with the deadening of the connection and deadening the distance. Really, it's like he's gonna stop being distant. He has this intention of longevity right now. So this is why I feel like, making sure that your bridge, your foundation is solid and working on that communication, because your energies are going to be intertwined, it feels like, for a while, based on him and his intentions and what he wants. So make sure that you kind of set yourself up for those successes by having a good way of relating and talking with one another, getting that awkward stuff out of the way so that you can just, when a moment of conflict does happen, because it will always happen, because relationships will promote conflict of whatever kind, anytime, you have that direct route and you know how to talk with each other. I know that you've been connected and involved in the past, but making sure that that's solid now, because you're different people now. When I ask Spirit what's coming in the future, I am being shown that there is a bit of an unknown space, which means a lot of you are actively creating what's coming next in this connection. What I am shown is a very clear energy of you two just being free souls, free spirits with one another. I keep feeling these really beautiful connections with the inner child. And so I am being shown that there is this soul to soul nature that you both are going to really be absorbed, enveloped in here in the near future. So it is important, I think, because again, you two do have a tendency to be able to do this. I think this is a gift. This is a beautiful thing. Make sure that you've got that direct route of communication so nothing gets lost in translation. And so you can really clearly remember these moments with solidified keywords in your brain and sort of mile markers to go to. So energy feels good. I really commend how you've allowed yourself to be vulnerable to him again, how he's allowed himself to be vulnerable to you. That's definitely a good position, but it's the communication that needs that focus.
It's interesting. Mimi said something that I was I was waiting for you to finish, and I was like, okay, I'm going to say this. Make sure, and then Mimi actually just said it. So, but make sure that you're not doing the chasing, because this is something that this will help with the communication. It's okay if you guys don't talk to during the day. Just don't message him. Don't, I mean, if you haven't heard in a few days or whatever, then, it's not a bad idea. But basically what I mean is, like, if he knows that there's going to be communication from you, he may not put that effort in towards it simply because he knows it's already going to be there. It doesn't mean that he doesn't want to talk to you. It just, he's kind of, let him be like this with the phone. When is she going to message? She's not messaging. Like, let him be, let him be what we are sometimes, right?
That's Kathy waiting for me to sign into the show.
Every freaking week. No, I'm just teasing. Like, you want him looking at his phone rather than you looking at yours. Okay. So I hope that helps. I hope that kind of gave you some clarity. And he will be. If he's not receiving that communication from you, he will wonder what the heck is going on. He will wonder. And, he wants to talk to you. I just feel like he's in this place of, yeah, but I know she will, or she'll come through. I'll hear from her. Like, he knows it's there. So, when he's not receiving it, he's going to be like, oh, wait a minute, something's happening here. And it'll get him to step up a little bit more. So you're so welcome. You're so very welcome. Thank you, Andrea. It's always a pleasure to read for you. So, who is
Luna.
next? Luna. Okay.
So Miss Eliza is Gemini.
I just want to say something, guys, also too. If I happen to turn off my camera, it might be just that I have to run out of the room or something like that. So I'm still expecting a Amazon delivery.
Oh my goodness.
I know, it's like 7:30 here. I just don't want to. If I hear them pull up or something like that, I'll just probably run away really quick and come back. So yeah.
All right. So Miss Eliza, is she still here? Where's our Luna? Let me make sure I see. I don't see Luna in the participants chat, but we know the participant part of this
Yeah.
never really works well.
That's okay.
So yeah, we got Luna, Eliza, and then Miguel, Nami, Lee. We're gonna have to figure out.
I'm
where
actually
you're
just
going.
writing it right down here. So yeah.
What's that?
I'm just writing the list. I somehow deleted it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
All
I don't
right.
know if should we read for Luna if she's not here right now? We wait and go on to the next person that is here.
I don't know. She can come back. She'll probably watch it later, and she can always slide through it. So it's up to you.
I don't know why I feel like she needs to be present.
Okay, then we'll move on to Miguel.
Okay. So Luna, Eliza, when you're here, please let us know because you are up next, and that goes for everybody.
That's not what I was trying to.
No, she's still here. She's still here.
Okay, there she is. Okay.
Okay, so Eliza, Gemini, how is my love life looking like?
Oh. Could you be a little bit more specific for that? Sorry. It's
also everybody, make sure you are refreshed and up to time. Try to be as live as possible here. So refresh your browser or refresh your app screen. Make sure you are live. We're at 1:22:08, 09, 10, 11. So you know where we're at. So try to keep up with us if you can.
Yeah. Luna, can you be a little bit more specific with that? I mean, unless Brandon can tap in, I just need something a little bit more than, because that's a little bit too general at the moment for me.
Right now, Liza, I feel like there's some kind of, I'm being shown like a friendship energy that feels like it's in this unknown territory. So I don't know if it's like you have multiple friends that you are kind of questionable about, because I keep being shown everything is resting on this surface level. It feels like there could be a lot of question with maybe a couple different people, and you're just like, hey, what does this mean between us? Are we going to do something? I can feel there's some kind of mutual interest, but again, everything just seems like it's resting on this surface level. Let me just tap in and see like what I feel coming up in your love life, because I'm not seeing anything really giving you a very clear definition at this time right now. So let me just kind of tap in. Oh, this is interesting. I am feeling a lot of resistance here. Okay.
Did you feel it from the other person or from Luna?
It was hard to tell because it felt like some kind of block that maybe she didn't even put up, but I'm feeling like a strong female figure in her life who like is trying to, I don't know if there's some kind of female figure in your life who is trying to tell you who to connect with or who to be with or something, but I am being shown that this female figure has some insight and something important to give to you. It feels like information about your past, maybe, or some kind of history. This person feels like a family or family friend of some kind, and they have influence, they have information to give you. And let me ask like what this is going to do and why this is kind of important. So what I'm being shown is that her information, her insight is going to be aligning you with a higher frequency, which means that it's going to be a higher frequency of people, a higher energy connection. Have you, Eliza, been having connections where people are not as serious as they either once said they were or that you thought they were? Because I feel like that's the energy I keep seeing. It's like you're making these good connections, all of a sudden things are just sort of left undefined and they're left on this weird surface level, and it's just, it doesn't feel like they're being real with you, or they might even be not purposely, but just putting you in a state of confusion. So I feel like there is some really important insight that's coming your way. Definitely start connecting with family, friends, other people that I don't know might have a some kind of understanding of your own family history. Because I keep feeling like that is all kind of going to be unlocked. I keep seeing you having these really clear bursts of insight, of deeper realizations. I'm feeling this sense of enlightenment in you where you're just like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. When you figured this piece out, I can't tell exactly what it is. It feels like this is exactly that block that I was shown immediately when I first connected with your energy. So really, I think tune in, because once you get that, right, once you get this piece of insight, this is where I'm shown that things really start to like take off. This is where I'm shown somebody enters into your life. I'm shown this feeling of a person who comes in with quite a masculine force and energy, who's like, hey, I am stable, I got this. And it's a very unrelenting energy, where again, stability feels like the one thing that you really need in connection with a relationship. Somebody who actually shows that they're like stable and they don't try to like undermine or disappear or ghost or whatever it is. So I think really start to look at whatever these, internal blocks are. Talk to those people within family, friends, etc. Really try to get to the heart of that matter.
Okay, so Sarah, no, Luna, sorry. I was gotta get my name straight here. Luna, it's interesting because as Brandon's talking, so sometimes I just sort of drift off and just, check where the energy is, what is coming through. And I feel, as Brandon had said earlier, a lot of resistance, but it almost feels like you're in this place of not, I feel like you want somebody to show you how they feel rather than you being in a place. It almost feels like you're kind of done having being the one to show people how they feel. So what I'm really getting here is I feel like there does need to be some work on some sort of healing energy, resistance energy, some sort of energy of releasing, just sort of kind of concentrating on Luna right now. I'm also really getting here it really feels like something is coming through. Someone is coming through. You're asking about the rest of the year. What is this going to look like? I feel once you get over this barrier of resistance that you've sort of built up, I keep hearing it's okay. It's okay to show someone how you feel. And it doesn't have to do with the current moment. I feel like this is something to remember in the upcoming, not far away future, but it feels like you have to lower that barrier. I do get here some sort of energy that's coming through, and I do feel that this person could be very open and loving and wanting to, show you that they're ready for a relationship. But I do feel that if you're in a place of resistance, they might get kind of frustrated. I don't feel them walking away, but I feel like it could take a little bit longer to make this connection of the relationship than it would if you lower the resistance. And it kind of feels as though this energy again of being a little bit hesitant or scared to show somebody how you feel because of being, hurt in the past. And it feels like this person that is coming through, it's interesting. I hear about June or July. It feels like a little bit longer, but I don't feel that this is going to it sounds like it's going to take a little bit longer, but I don't feel that it's going to take that long. Like, when your physical self, it's not going to feel that it's that amount of time. It just feels like this person just showing up. But again, I do feel like you really need to work on your resistance, okay? Or work on the allowing of a relationship to come through. Because it does feel like you did put a lot of energy into this last relationship, but it wasn't being returned. And then it feels like more energy going into it. And it's always like around and around and around. So the more that you put in, the more you're getting frustrated because they're not returning that energy. So you kind of put more energy into it. And then it's basically just feels like on your, within your energy that you're just giving. So allow this person to show you who they are, but at the same time, don't have your barriers up so high that they can't make that step forward. Okay. I hope that helps, because I do feel around the middle of this year, for some reason, I keep hearing Cancer season. Okay. Which is was that the middle of June?
End of June and July.
Yeah, into July. So I keep hearing Cancer season, that this, somebody coming through. So I hope that helps, hun. I hope that gave you a sense of clarity. Miguel is next.
Mr. Miguel Taurus, I'm here for a general reading in what my guides want to tell me.
Okay. You're gonna laugh though. So your guides are actually saying that it's time. I don't know if I want to tell you this, simply because of the fact that we actually like having you on the show, but you'll still come on the show because I know you will. I know Namie's laughing right now. But what I actually get here is it's time for you to really connect. Oh, I know why they're saying this. They want you to start connecting with your ancestors. Okay, it feels as though, and you know how we talked about last week about kind of taking territory of the land. Well, we hope we didn't pee in any closets because that would be bad. But what I'm getting here is there feels as though there needs to be, it almost feels like, oh my God, Miguel, you know what? Here's the interesting thing. I really feel like on a spiritual level, something happened. I don't know if it's this last week, or if you've been feeling it kind of coming for a while, or maybe you haven't quite felt it yet, but I feel like you're all of us, what's the word? It's like you're psychic all of a sudden. Like, I guess that's the best way to say it. But it almost feels as though in a mediumship quality, a little bit different than what Namie's energy is, but it almost feels as though like spirit is trying to talk to you. I don't know if this is ancestors that are coming through. It could be, but it somehow, I feel like maybe that's why you were supposed to connect with the land. Like it's almost as though that energy gave you this like it opened something. Okay, it opened up the channel. So we have the chakras on the soles of the feet, and connecting to the land helped to open up those chakras, because what I'm hearing, this is really interesting. So I'm hearing that you didn't really allow those chakras to open because of the fact that you didn't feel safe where you were to open up the soul, the bottom of the feet, not the soul, the bottom of the chakra. So you weren't in a place where you felt comfortable to open up and allow that energy, which is why connecting to the land is now opening up those soul, again, bottom of the feet chakras, and allowing your chakras to align, which is in turn opening up that crown chakra in order to feel that flow that's coming through. So where you find a comfort place on your land, I feel like this to make some sort of, you can make an altar or whatever, but I don't feel it even needs to be like that. Just find a place on your land that is going to be Miguel's place, Miguel's area, You know, it doesn't need to be, 10 by 10 or anything. It can be literally like a little rock somewhere on the land, or it can
A
be
he hut.
whatever. What's that?
A he hut.
Yeah, yeah,
Instead of a
yeah.
she shed, it's a he hut.
But even if it's just, but somehow where your feet are connected to Mimi's like, no, he already has a he shed. No, I actually feel like this has to be like, this should be somehow connected to the ground. And I really get here that there's a lot of uh spirit energy coming through. And I kind of feel like you might already have an idea of where this land is, or this area within the land. It can be a rock, like literally it can be a by 2 space. It doesn't need to be anything big or anything like that, but it's just a place where you feel safe for spirit to come through. That's what I really get. And I really feel like you're going to start opening up, and you're going to be so I'm hearing this too. Sorry. When this starts to happen, if it hasn't happened already, I'm also getting here. Don't be scared. Okay. Because when we start connecting to the other side, there's psychic and there's medium. Okay. And I'm going to be really honest about this. Psychic. Hey, you know what? I really feel like everybody is psychic. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a matter of how we advance our things. When we start bringing in spirit, if you need any help, you and Amy can give me a call, whatever, like, by all means, I'm willing to help out with this. When spirit starts coming through, but I don't think you're going to need it. I think you're going to be okay. But, I'm here if you do. But when we start connecting to the other side, it can be a little intense. Okay. Because, we start seeing, like, you're going to start seeing the land. And I'm talking about what is on the land, who's on the land. You're going to start connecting with the elementals. Okay. Like, you're going to start being able to see the things that the average bear is not going to be able to see. Don't be scared by it. They're not going to hurt you. They're not going to do anything. They're only there existing. And they're going to be there whether you see them or not. So, but it's not going to be, it might be a little startling, but at the same time, don't worry, like, is what I keep saying. But this is what I keep feeling. And I feel like this is really important for you. Don't expect it to happen immediately, but you're going to start really seeing things, or if you haven't already, is like, what the heck is that? Or is that a shadow? Or you might see something moving. I remember one time I was doing an investigation or something. I literally saw this big blue worm crawling through somebody's kitchen. And I was just like, the frick is going on? I mean, it didn't interact with me or anything like that. This was, it's going to be there, whether we're a part of it or not. So, anyway, that's basically my middle daughter seen a lady in her room already, but she's harmful. Or my daughter said she wanted nothing to do with that ability, even though I told her maybe she just wanted to say harmless. Okay. Yeah. You got to remember that the lands itself are going to have so many things that are there. And if your daughter doesn't want to see something, make sure that you can actually place like white quartz in the corners of her room. Get her to maybe pick them out, get her to place them in the corners of her room, give them energy, and just to let her know that she can, just basically say, this is a safe place. No spirits are allowed. That's it. This is my room. Done. And that should help. So yeah, I hope that kind of gave you some clarity, Miguel, because I really feel like there's an advancement coming for you very, very quickly. So
Yeah, I don't have too much to add to that. There are a couple things, but Kathy really hit on a lot. When I'm connected with your energy, Miguel, God, you just feel like so lovey. Like, there's so much love in your heart. Like, I really feel it, and I feel like this is a big reason as to why you're kind of opening up too, because love really is that catalyst. Love, compassion brings you to this level of consciousness. That's like one of the tricks or keys, into opening up psychic awareness is love and compassion and
I'll be right back.
empathy, being able to see yourself, within somebody else, put yourself in their shoes. So this really feels great, when I'm asking spirit what you need to see, know, hear, or understand is that you are being opened up. Spirit shows me that there is a sort of breakdown of different layers or dimensions of reality coming to your conscious. They're showing me connecting with far or distant places and it becoming a sort of manifested or tangible thing within your own consciousness, within your own sphere. You likely could even be ending up doing some kind of channeling of some kind. I know we talked about this before, but I am actually specifically seeing speaking and words almost coming from within you without your full sense of control. So I think definitely be careful, if that's not something you want to do. And maybe you can find your own way to channel. Maybe it could be writing or doing some kind of energy work or whatever. Like Kathy was suggesting, having a dedicated or specific space for yourself to be in the space to bring through whatever is needed. But I will tell you, a lot of people do appreciate channeled messages. The one thing I'm being shown though, Miguel, is I would not open up. Spirit is showing me to kind of hold this energy back a little bit from friends, people outside of the home or outside of, your immediate circle, your immediate family. It's not something yet I feel is to be shared with the friends because they are showing me to withhold this a bit. Don't fully speak out about it because it seems like either they're not ready or you're not ready for that interaction. And so this is, I feel this is important. Keep this with family right now. Keep this sacred. Keep the energy sacred, and keep what's going on with you sacred. And don't extend it out to too many people. I wouldn't be giving them all this information or telling them, how you're opening up to this stuff. Let them come to you in those regards, and let this solidify within you a little bit more. So that way, when you talk about it, you can clearly define it. You can clearly explain what's going on, and so that way it doesn't make you, it doesn't give your friends the wrong impressions here. So I think just keep that in mind. Other than that, I think you're golden. Miguel he's got that love to give everybody in this room a hug. I swear. It's such a great place to be in.
Awesome. Nami, what is Nami's question?
Mrs. Nami.
Miguel.
Pisces, this has to do with Miguel's oldest daughter, and he's okay with it, so you can be blunt.
Mm-hmm.
She still has negativity towards our relationship. Will she always be problematic?
Okay. There's a lot of unresolved issues within this girl. I don't know if she's seeing like it really wouldn't hurt for her to start seeing a therapist or a psychiatrist, not because she's got unresolved issues, and I don't know if this has to do something with a mom energy. I don't know if her mom has placed some sort of negativity there, or if her mom's disappeared. It just feels like there's some sort of mom energy which is not attached to you, Nami. Like, it's not you. It feels like apart from you. And I honestly, there's a lot of jealousy there. Her mom is a bad influence. Okay. Yeah. I really feel like having some therapy and responsibility. I keep hearing something about like she doesn't take responsibility for her actions. It seems to be a really big thing. It almost feels as though she has this perception that she can do what she wants to do, and she doesn't have to take responsibility from it. And I don't know if this is coming from her mom, because I do not feel like this has anything to do with you or Miguel or the kids or anything like that. It's almost as though um it's almost as though somehow through her mother's influence or her lack of having to take responsibility in the past, she's just continuing to do so. And it's almost as though I really feel like with this girl here, she throws something out and almost waits and sees what the reaction is going to be. She's like a
Yup.
boomerang, right?
Yep.
Like, oh, if I throw this out, what is going to be the reaction? And she kind of just sits there. So the best thing to do is absolutely not react, first of all. And even if she's, but here's the problem with that is that the problem with that, though, is that when you don't react, she might escalate it. Okay. So you'd have to be prepared for the escalation because she's still wanting attention. But again, at some point you might just have to say, okay, enough. Like this is harmful to these little children that we have here, and you're a grown adult. And the fact that you're a grown adult and you're acting, like a 2-year-old isn't a good influence on our children. And these children are, essentially, part of your family too. So you might have to actually just be very straightforward and say the fact that you're trying to upset other people in the family with your behavior. These are children and they can be very influenced by your behavior. So why would you want to do that? Give her something to think about. Throw the responsibility back at her because she does need it. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to get her into, and it's been better with her at a distance. Oh, for sure. Because she, it's interesting because within her, there is an energy of being guilty. Like she does feel the guilt, but at the same time, she squashes that guilt and continues the behavior. So you might just have to say, until you can behave in this manner, there is going to be no more participation. Your dad can still see you. We would love to have you as part of the family, but we cannot have this behavior around children that are influenced by you. And again, it's just the matter of throwing it back. You have to throw it back at her, but in a kind and loving way. You're welcome into the family when you behave, like an adult. But right now you're not acting like an adult. So it's basically just throwing it back. And again, I do feel like maybe she does need somebody to talk to, probably like on the more therapeutic, therapist, psychology, psychiatrist, that sort of energy.
I
Um,
think you hit
yeah.
the nails right on the head here, Kathy. I am being shown that it just feels like there is going to have to be a check. When I ask how to solve this or what is going to have to come to, I am shown Miguel's energy, really standing firm and having to pull away certain energy, certain interactions, certain emotions, and it is through some of this distance that she is going to have that reality check. And I think, like Kathy is saying, getting some outside help is going to put things in perspective. But she is a force, of her own. She is her own sun. She kind of revolves around herself, or feels that everything should revolve around her. And so it does sort of stop immediate growth within her own self, and it does extend outwardly to other people. So there is something that I do feel that she's got to come to terms with internally. I think this would be interesting to actually work with her, because there's some kind of trigger within her. There's some kind of trauma I can feel that is like it's holding back a certain aspect of self, and it isn't allowing the for lack of a better term right now, until I dig into it, the humility to be present, and thinking that everything is sort of egocentric surrounded around her. So I do feel that a lot of this is going to rest on your shoulders, Miguel. And it will be a tough moment. I can feel you having to pull your energy back. I can feel you having to pull even your emotions back, and sharing the deeper part with her. And it makes sense. If you are becoming more and more sensitive right now, you're going to quickly find out that people who are self-focused, they drain your energy quite quickly. I mean, you've probably noticed this already, but you'll see it even to this capacity. So this will be a tough one. This will definitely be a tough one. You guys hang in there. But she will have a reality check, but I don't expect it anytime soon right now. But that moment will definitely come. I'm not sure her age, but I can feel she's right in the age where in about a couple of years, there's going to be some, Saturn is going to be present. There are heavy weights of life that happen. We all get those moments. And that's what helps us sort of be more grounded, some pretty big reality shocks, some pretty big adjustments. And when she realizes that, the people who are genuinely looking out for her soul are not there, that's going to be a shock to her. And she's going to make a good change there. So give it some time, hang in there, be patient. She's in her 20s. Oh, so no wonder she will be having a Saturn return soon then, probably a few years. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know it is going to be really hard, for all of you, I think, to make that connection. But of course, for Miguel, even deeper, or make that disconnection. But, again, it's going to be a matter of doing it with love. Like, hey, we love you, but this is the bottom line. It's like that tough love, we cannot have the influence on the little ones. And this is not how I want my children to be around. I don't want them to be around this. This is not acceptable behavior. And so, it definitely may come down to that. I think it's probably going to come down to that pretty quickly. And it's going to be what needs to happen. Even if it's a matter of, hey, have you ever tried to talk to somebody? Have you had therapy? I really think that this is something that you need to do, and getting that message across to her, letting her know. I mean, she's probably going to have a fit about that too, but
I could see her using a shaman though too. A shaman would be really great. Which Miguel, he's got the hands and the energy work and the channeling. I think he should be exploring shamanism too.
but not with her.
Yeah, that could
not with her. That's it. It would be. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not a good connection.
Yeah.
There has to be a lot of learning from her first before Miguel can get. Miguel has to be very stabilized. I'm saying this because I've worked with shaman in the past. We've worked with priests in the past, mediumship. You have to be very, very not that you're not grounded, Miguel, but you have to be very like I said, there's once you start exploring that other side, the other side of the veil, not just in intuitive or psychic, there's shit that comes in that you have to be in a very, very strong place first, because little things are going to come through. And I don't feel like she's so unstable that she would actually it would just be explosive at this time. I really think she needs to get herself stabilized first, and maybe sometime in the future. But with Miguel, him just opening up and really exploring this, it could be really combustive, and it could be really the problem is that when we tap into that other side, if we're bringing in negative energy as we go through, what are we drawing in? We're going to be drawing in the negative energy, right? So you have to be in this place where you're in a stable energy first before all of that happens. So I hope that makes sense. I hope it gave you guys some help for sure.
I'm going to show Melody. Let's see if she can see. This is where the plant started, love. This little baby plumeria I got from Hawaii. And look at this thing now. Oh my gosh. It is growing like crazy.
Oh my God, they're getting married on February 13th. Woo!
What?
Congratulations, guys. That is so amazing.
Oh my goodness. I was wondering. That's so funny because I said Ms. and I was like, oh, Mrs. actually. Did you catch that?
I didn't, but that's awesome.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny.
Oh, I'm so happy for you guys. So happy for you guys. That's fantastic. Congratulations. This is amazing. Woohoo. You're going to have to post lots of pictures. Let us see them. So, Love Tea is next.
Love Tea.
Oh, and hey guys, Nami and Miguel, if you guys need any help, definitely contact me through Facebook, something like that. If you need anything, let me know. So I just wanted to throw that at you. Okay. Love Tea is next. What was Love Tea's question?
Love Tea. I did the whole try to open up thing with R to try to show him I still do care, but that just backfired and he became distant. May I get a reading on why and what are his thoughts currently? Love Tea is Aries, R is Capricorn.
Okay, so with love, with what is his name? R. Yeah. Okay, because R isn't completely connected with himself at this particular moment. I literally just, the first thing I really heard coming through here, he just needs some time to adjust to whatever was said or whatever happened within this energy. I don't know exactly, what was said or what you did or whatever, but it doesn't feel like you did anything wrong or bad or anything like that. I just keep getting this energy here that it's like he's kind of cocooned, like kind of scared. Like this is the first energy that came through. He's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Just, I feel like let him be for a bit. He's going to start again coming through. I don't know if it really particularly backfired particularly. It just feels as though because he's not connected with himself. Good night, Cliff. Have a great night. Thank you so much for watching. Because he's not fully connected with his own inner self, his own spirit, his own, all of that stuff. I feel to some degree. So what I'm getting here is like his conscious self. And we've talked about this before, conscious and the subconscious part. The conscious part of him kind of had this feeling like, he could keep it fun and he could keep it on the low down and all of this stuff, right? But his subconscious part has been screaming at him, knowing that he's wanted more, that he's wanted to make this a deeper connection. So you bringing something to him, it basically brought his subconscious to the forward, to the conscious part. And now he's like, oh, but I thought I wanted this. But his subconscious is hitting him going, no, you know exactly what it is that you really want. So I would say let him just work this out a little bit. I can tell you from his energy, you're on his mind. I don't know exactly when you said this to him or when this happened, but you've been on his mind. And I feel like that is that subconscious energy breaking into the conscious energy. And because he's trying to figure out how to deal with it, it's almost like, oh, this is going to be a really bad analogy, and I'm sorry for this. But it's going to make sense to you. I think you'll understand. When you have a player. Okay, let's just, and I'm not calling him a player, but a player, like somebody who's all like, oh yeah, I can get anybody, I can do this and I can do that, and they kind of casually they treat relationships casual, and then they meet somebody who blows their mind and they're like, oh, wait a minute, I actually really like this person. Oh my god, like, what do I do? And that's where he is. Not calling him a player, but it's that basic energy, right? Of right in the middle of the conversation, he just stopped responding. That's okay, he'll be back. I do feel he'll be back. It might take a little bit, but I do feel he'll be back. He just needs to assimilate this. Just don't, I would say actually just don't do anything. Don't message him. Don't check on him. Don't, just let him be, because he'll come back. It just feels like he's assimilating that energy. He's got to figure out what he wants to do with it. It's almost like you spoke what his subconscious was thinking. And that's
it's like you almost threw him out of his body. Like,
right.
it
That's
was such a it
that's
was like an energy beyond, I think, what he was expecting. And so for him, somebody who is more practical, who's more rigid, and throwing something unconventional towards him is just like, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute,
Mhm.
and this is an emotional realm. Oh, like, what do I do? How do I? There definitely is this sort of. I feel this foreignness in his energy when I'm
Sorry.
thinking when I'm connecting with him, thinking about his thoughts, his feelings towards you. I'm being shown this sort of like really far reaching, broad perspective here. And it's like he's playing in this astral playground. And it didn't feel of his own volition. It literally feels like he kind of like got knocked out. When I look at the energy between the two of you, I am being shown that there is like Kathy is saying, this assimilating, a harmony of soul, of spirit. It is making it feel like, I'm wanting to ride in, I'm wanting to charge in, I'm wanting to bring in this energy, quite clear. And his response is like, whoa, I need to see it from an objective perspective first. And that's when, I'm able to make that movement. That's when I'm able to initiate in. So whereas you might be, more headstrong, you might even be, like right here, clear, direct, right to the point. He's got to have that little bit of an aerial or objective perspective about things in order to fully gauge and understand it, especially when it comes to an emotional nature, because there does have to be a certain level of detachment for him to process his emotion, because if he's mixed in it, he can't really fully understand it and how it affects him and his plan, and his own rituals and his own life. So it is because it is of an emotional nature that it does create a need for him to look at it from a different perspective. When I do ask what's coming between the two of you, I am being shown that this distance will eat itself away. I don't feel there's honestly too much to worry about, because there's too many abundance feelings, and emotions that are to be shared between the both of you. So I wouldn't worry too much. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything bad here. You really allowed a bar, a level of truth, and now he knows where he has to meet you. And I do feel that he will be doing so. I haven't done anything. I don't know, just made me feel defeated. Why did you feel defeated? Don't take how he reacts. It's
Yes.
not you. It's not on you. How he reacts and what he does, how he feels things. That's not something that you have to be responsible for. Don't take on his feelings. Those are his. That's his to go. I understand, of you wanting to just be clear, and just wanting you guys to be connected, but how he's acting and reacting, that's definitely not on you and nor your responsibility. Doesn't mean you need to be ignorant of it either, but you don't have to take on the feeling of it. You don't have to take that feeling on.
Yes.
Do not be defeated.
It's hard, right? Over and over with the wall, but
It
it's hard.
is tough because
That again, that it all has to do with him. It all has to do with his behavior, his energy. I mean, you can't change that. I think that it was amazing, the fact that you came forward. It just, like I said, it was like the subconscious hitting the conscious part of him. And now he's in this place of, holy God, what do I do? Because he thought that he didn't think that it could be casual. He knew that it wasn't, but he was trying to keep it on a casual type of
it
field.
was like interaction or like the level, because he was trying to control the level of things. And you're like, no, 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 no. I'm honoring what is clearly being felt here. Those Capricorns love control, let me tell you.
My daughter is a Capricorn. I know that.
They just love to be the little puppeteer.
Right? Who is next?
Hang in there, love T. Don't worry. You did the right thing. Who is next? We've got. Did
Lee.
we ever confirm Lee's donation here?
Yeah, we did get it come through. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I have 15 different questions, I think. Oh no, okay. I've got so many questions from Lee. So basically she wants to know what's going on with her guides. She wants to figure out what her guides are trying to tell her. She's obviously going through some intense experiences, some kind of vortex, energy chaos. What are her guides trying to tell her? What are they trying to communicate?
Okay. Just give me a second here, Lee, to tap in, okay? Okay. I heard this earlier when you first messaged, and it was a little bit kind of confusing, but I think I get the idea of what they're talking about now. So what I keep getting from them, it feels as though you're focused very much on the 3D at this moment. There's a lot of 3D energy that's around you at the moment. Like it feels like your bits of your PTSD are coming through simply because of the fact that it's like you almost need to here's the thing. I hate saying this because it sounds like it's not honoring what had happened to you. Like it's not saying that it didn't happen or that you're not going through what you went through. But I do feel like there needs to be an energy here, a little bit of closing that door. Okay. Simply because when we get stuck in that energy and keep going into the past, it doesn't mean not to. And when I talk about honoring it, it doesn't mean that it was a good thing. Obviously, it wasn't, but it happened. Honor it. Okay. It happened. But what your guides are saying is that it's almost like you're taking these 2 steps forward, but then you take this step back and you take 2 steps forward and you go back. And it's almost as though you're in this place of being scared to allow yourself to move forward. And that's what they keep saying to me is like you're in this place where it's hard for you to release and move. And here's the thing. Sometimes we get into this energy of if we let go of the past or if we heal from the past. I'm not going to say let go. Let me say heal. When we heal from the past, it's almost as though we get to this place where we feel like maybe it didn't happen. But some people don't want that to. I'm trying to put it into better words, but I hope I'm trying to move past it, like triggers. Okay. So when the triggers come up, allow them to come up and deal with them at that particular moment or at that particular second or whatever it is. But then remember, it's okay to close the door. And I feel because I'm literally seeing here what I keep getting shown, and I've been showed throughout the show, is your guides, your angels coming forward almost with their hands and like, let me guide you, let me pull you away from this. And you do take a couple of steps forward, but then there's this energy of, but I have to go back. I have to go back, or I have to hang on to this energy in some way. And it really feels like just, I almost want to say like to take your guide's hand when it's offered, like when these things come up, and just ask for the healing at that moment is what I keep getting. It just feels like for some reason you keep bringing yourself back there. You keep bringing yourself back there, and it's okay to let it go. It's okay to release it. It's okay to say goodbye to it, if that makes any sense.
There's a lot of energy happening around here.
Yeah.
Like, let me just say, I definitely feel like when you say vortex, I don't know if I think you have something specific in your mind, but I'm going to explain to you what I keep seeing in your energy and see if it correlates. I am being shown that there are all of these. Oh, this is so interesting. It feels like all these little tiny universes, and they open their windows and they like stream things to you, or they pull you into them. It's so interesting. So I don't know if you experience this consciously or unconsciously, meaning in your dreams or while you're awake, but I am being shown that you are constantly receiving a lot of different messages. What feels most difficult is that your own stability is compromised, and therefore gosh, I feel like this is coming up a lot though. This energy of abundance or framing of abundance. Maybe it's the 2222 energy. I'm being shown that it messes with your own sense of abundance. It messes with things that are supposed to be flowing to you because these other routes and channels are taking up all of the bandwidth. Does that make sense? So it's as if it stops maybe other things that you're trying to manifest or do. And so there really does have to be a sense of control over it. You know, you've got to create boundaries or limitations with all these different energies that are kind of coming at you. The one other thing I'm being shown is that it can take away. I'm feeling a lot of pressure on the chest, and I'm feeling a lot of like things that are trying to come out of the chest, which means, you know, things of love, things of soul. It's as if it puts you in this cloud, so to speak, and these things start to get suppressed, and I can feel this weight, and I can almost feel like when these things don't come out from chest, it creates sadness, it creates the tears, and it creates this little bit of a cycle, and then all of a sudden another little universe comes in and starts connecting, and it's like it's this tough cycle that you really got to get a kind of control of, you know. It's so, and Kathy, you know, I think is a really good person to talk about this. It's so okay to create boundaries with these other realms and these other layers and levels of consciousness. It's so important to do so because not only will it stop draining any of your energy and impeding other things coming into your life, when you can create those boundaries, you can control when and when you don't want to filter information. It's like a faucet, right? You know, we all love having flowing water, but if it didn't stop when we needed it to, that's going to be a little bit difficult. And so really think of it like, you know, turning on a switch of some kind or a faucet. Like, okay, I'm ready to receive. Oh, okay, turning it off. No, don't need it anymore. We're good. And with you being a Taurus, I mean, I'd really love to see your full natal chart, Lee, but with you being a Taurus sun, you do have an earth orientation. So doing something physical to make that happen might be a very good benefit for yourself as well. You know, I do this, even like Miguel, who's in the show earlier, he does things, I know physically with his hands. That's how he can channel a lot of different energy. Excuse me. So maybe having some kind of physical, tangible thing to do to help it to literally be a switch for you, I think would be very, very beneficial. Wow, lots of energy. Like, there's so many different things coming to you at once. I feel like there's some kind of Aquarian energy too. Like, I can feel your mind being so open and active. Like, it's a definite beautiful thing. But yeah, you got to make sure you got to take control of that. That's for you to do. And honestly, I could see you using these connections as a means of bringing other people information too.
You know, the thing is, Lee, is that when you're, you know, and if Miguel's listening, this will be good, you know, for you as well. When we're tapping into the other side, whether this is our guides, our angels, our, you know, spirit, if you're doing medium readings, whatever it is, and again, you know, as Brandon said about the boundaries, you know, I always talk about those boundaries. These are so important. But it's a lot of times people kind of get caught into and I'm probably going to say it the wrong way that I really want to say it, but it's kind of the dramatic of what's happening.
Well, it's intense because it's
Right.
so different. It's
And
like putting on a crazy TV show.
that's exactly it. And so when we pull away from that, you know, there's been times where, you know, whether you ask for a sign or, you know, whether you're manifesting and you create it and you manifest it, whatever else, where you're kind of blown away with that. Holy crap, like that just happened. Holy shit. Like, and you're trying to wrap your brain around the fact that Yeah, this literally just I do this every single time when I do a mediumship reading. I'm telling you, when I channel somebody who has passed over at the end, at the end of the session, I'm always blown away. I'm always in this place of like, holy crap, did I just do that? And I mean, I've done it probably 1,000 times. Like, but every time is special and every time just blows my mind. And I'm like, holy man. So but when we move past that energy of the being blown away, we can still appreciate it, but we just remove kind of the dramatic of it. Okay.
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and I think that that's sometimes the best way to say it. It's not the um it's not that you're being dramatic, it just remove the drama. um and, if you want to tap, I mean, I would love to do a mediumship course. It's too hard to really, get into it too much here because there's so much behind it. But it's more or less listening to what is coming through. Every medium works differently for me. I hear, I see, I feel, all of it. Okay. So, I could be clairaudient, all of it. Like basically it's all there. So I had to really work my way, through different realms and levels and all of this. Like it's taken me a long time to get to that place. Like Melody said, it's like radio stations playing at the same time. It can be intense and it can be draining. It doesn't drain me anymore in doing mediumship readings simply because of the fact that I allow them to just work through me. So it's a
Mhm.
different energy. But but it's listening, listening and not getting too wound up into the specifics of something. Sometimes you might hear something and go, okay. And then you can ask for more clarity or more guidance or whatever.
Mhm.
I've done mediumship readings where I'm feeling like somebody died from a heart attack. I feel my chest go boom, and I'm having, that heart attack. It's not an actual heart attack, but I feel that chest pain and it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I got to just hang on. I got to work it through. I got to breathe it through. If I was
Yeah,
to
take a breath.
react differently like every time, or I've had stomach pain, or I've had, where that it's like an aneurysm because your head will all of a sudden you can feel it coming through.
Mhm.
And if I was to react on every single time, I'd be a freaking mess, right? So it's a matter of it's happening at this moment. I'm accepting, I'm allowing, I'm channeling it through, letting it go, and trying not to stay in that realm of what just happened. And that's probably the best way at this point that will really help is just take every little thing one at a time, accept it, and then let it move forward. But it feels like your guides want to pull you forward and they want to bring you out of these things and these triggers and this the past. And it really feels like the thing that's drawing you back into the past is really you, because they're trying to move you forward. So allow them to guide you is what I keep feeling. So, Melody, I wake up every single day so absolutely feeling blessed. I truly do. Um, but I've got myself to a good place, and I think Brandon has too, where you feel
Yeah.
like once you do that grounding and you do the inner work and you do all of that, you know what? It's hell going through it, but once you've gone through it, you're
You are good. Yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah,
only difficulty is, like, in, like, really, really human things, like
yeah.
having relationships with people who are not psychic aware or, different that's where it can become, very, very difficult, if other people don't understand your level of understanding, that extra few layers of consciousness that you let yourself engage in, that can be tough. But otherwise, yeah, individually, once you make peace with it and you have your own system and the way that you do it, you're golden.
Hmm.
You're absolutely golden. You
Oh,
can do
Will
it,
is
Lee. Definitely. There's so many Yeah,
Yeah.
100% you can do this. Absolutely. Again, I would love to see your chart at some point. So if you ever wanted to do that, I would definitely be down. Again, any of you guys listening in, I don't know how much time we'll have left. Yeah, we're already at 2:20, so
Yeah.
we've got about a few minutes left. I don't know if we'll be able to get to lotteries, but again, if you want to do a reading with me, head on over to thedreamteacher.com. You could just set up an appointment. We do all sorts of things: astrology, psychic reading, some hypnosis, hypnotherapy, regressions, all sorts of stuff. So yeah, thedreamteacher.com if you wanted to book with me.
And if you want to book with me, you guys can contact me at oracleintuitions.com. And you're so, so welcome, Lee. I hope it's given you a sense of clarity.
I feel her feeling me, and I just want to send you a big hug, Lee. All right, so who's up next? Mr. Will. Wacky Will, if you will. So Will is Taurus, of course. Am I going to have a date for Valentine's, or should I plan something else?
Okay, Will, have you asked somebody out for Valentine's yet?
I guess that's a great start.
That was the first thing that came to me. I was like, have you asked for anybody out for Valentine's yet? Because, it could happen. That's I don't want to say no, and I don't want to say yes. And the reason for that is it feels like there might be some, I don't know if there's a group activity that could be possibly, coming up, or maybe there's some sort of group get together, or I don't know if you're, where you work is planning something, or if it feels like,
that's an interesting energy, because I know exactly what you mean when you said that.
Like it just feels like there's, I don't know, there might be some sort of group thing coming.
Well, I keep being shown, if you don't mind, Kathy, I keep being shown that there's like some sense of rejection that leads into something like really awesome, like really amazing. Like I'm being shown like this feeling of like, oh, I feel a little bit broken down and defeated. And it's like through this that it's like, boom, something snaps, either some kind of invite or it molds into something else, or it turns literally into a different invite. I'm being shown like this really nice feeling of like harmony, alignment. Like Kathy's saying, it could be like a group thing, but just put yourself out there is really the point, because the more you make yourself vulnerable, it's gonna literally create this moment. It's like literally gonna create the date. It's literally gonna create that space. So I really think you could, but you, like Kathy said, have you asked anybody? You got to put yourself out there. Start down the line of the people you would have preference of hanging out with. And again, do not be surprised if there's like a moment of like rejection. That does not mean to stop. It does not mean to stop. It means to keep going forward. So as I keep seeing a sort of feeling of being let down, and then an immediate sense of like, wow, like I can see you on Valentine's being like, oh, thank God that it went this way. And just honestly being really excited for it. And to answer your question here, second question real quick. Yeah, definitely do.
Right? 100% TikTok.
You should definitely be doing TikTok. Your
100%
energy feels
all the way.
totally right there. I keep seeing you making really important bonds on TikTok. So just keep that in mind. Definitely strong, important bonds that you would be making from there.
Will, it's interesting because you've done so much, and we've talked about this before. You've done so much personal work and, just inner healing and all of that. Like you've really, really, really grown so, so, so much. The one thing I do feel is there is still a little bit of bouncy energy within you, like your mind kind of bounce. And it's interesting because it goes a little bit from I don't know if you guys watch Winnie the Pooh, because there's a little bit of Eeyore, but there's a little bit of Piglet. So it's kind of like the happy Eeyore, but then there's the Piglet who's really happy. He's like inquisitive and looking and stuff like that. So it does feel like there's a little bit of bouncy energy in there. Maybe try to start channeling just a little bit of channeling that energy, especially when it, starts wandering. I know I've recommended this book, a few times, but I really do like it. It is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Do not watch his videos. Well, you can. I mean, if you're okay with that, I'm not going to not recommend somebody's YouTube channel. That would be not fair. Watch them all you want. But I'm telling you, if your mind wanders, he can be difficult to, listen, but reading the book does really help. So it's a different thing. I mean, maybe you want to clarify it with the video, right, or something like that, but it does help you stay in that present moment without you being vroom, 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 all
Yeah.
over the place. So okay, so I believe Sarah is next. I hope that helped, Will.
Yeah, make yourself vulnerable. Well, like this is definitely do not stop if you ask somebody and they say they don't or can't or whatever it is. That's kind of the point. That's what
Whoa,
I'm being shown. What?
did you see my screen?
No.
Whoa, my screen just went like, like when you're watching TV and you get that static all of a sudden, it just went.
That's weird. I did see the light change behind you, so the reflection of it must have changed.
Whoa, that was
I just watched it
crazy.
replay. That's weird.
Um, yeah, yeah, keep working on it. And as far as TikTok goes, I can actually see you doing really, really, really well on TikTok. Just make sure, you're following, who it is that you want to follow. You'll get, I haven't put up a video in like, I don't even know how long. And I think since Halloween. And I get followers every day. I might only have like a few hundred or some 300 or something like that. But, they still keep adding and I'm just like, okay, whatever. I might I'm good. But definitely TikTok, make it consistent. Maybe watch some videos on, how to be successful on TikTok, a couple of them or anything like, just to see.
You're gonna watch
But I
a
can really
TikTok
see
on
this
how to
going
be
well.
successful on TikTok.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
This is the most
I
meta thing.
it's you're gonna do great. You'll do great. So Nikki, I'm sorry that our reading is our our reading list is actually closed for the night. So join us next week for sure at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Yeah,
All right, so
absolutely. This is
Sarah.
how to expand your wrestling career. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But personality career too. Wrestling is also all about personality and like who you are. Look at The Rock,
Mhm.
it's totally show off. Total show off. All right. So Sarah, without the H for Sarah. Sarah is a Capricorn. My question is, what does Brad want from our connection? He is a Virgo.
Okay. He's a Virgo and she is a Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're so welcome, Will. Um it's interesting because with the both of your energy, you being a Capricorn, you guys have similar energies with the Capricorn and Virgo. But it's kind of like you both want each other to sort of show that you're interested. And both of you, it almost feels as though there's a energy here about neither of you are really wanting to show too much. It's like he wants you to show more, you want him to show more. It kind of feels like this round and around energy. And yet neither of you are really, saying what it is that you want from this. And I do feel with him, He can close himself off very quickly is what I get also with his energy. So if he how do I explain this? If he feels that you're not interested, he can shut down his energy fairly quickly. But that doesn't mean he's shutting off to you. It means that he's in this place of, well, I'm just not going to do anything because she's not doing it first. And it feels kind of a little bit childish to some degree. But what I am getting here is that I do feel that he likes you. I don't know what your relationship is or exactly, what's going on here, but it does feel as though he wants a stronger connection than what is currently happening at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel now, okay, when I say this does not mean to go, rampant on texting him or calling or anything like that. I do feel that there needs to be some sort of opening though for him, like basically a little bit of a letting him know that you are interested. It doesn't mean that you have to deprave yourself of having him chase you. Okay. Because I do feel that there needs to be that, energy in there of both of you putting in the effort. But it does feel like he's questioning the relationship, questioning where you are. Like he doesn't know if you're interested or not interested. I feel like he's a
Mm-hmm.
little bit, you flattered him a lot. Okay. Now that you've done that, leave that. Okay. Like it just, because I still feel like he's in this place where he's still questioning. He's quite, I don't know. Here's the thing with Virgos. They're awesome, but they can sometimes, if they're not in a already stable relationship, they can be very like you have to show me how you feel. Like they're very much that you have to show me. So I
Yeah,
feel like, what's that? Go ahead, Brandon.
yeah, this is tough. I mean, I am feeling that specifically for Brad. Let me first address, I feel the energy between the two of you. It does feel like there's this weird stagnation, but there's still
Mhm.
this emotional pull with one another. But then I feel the distance, but then I feel these like almost soul understandings between you. It really feels like a bit of a dichotomy, a little bit of an up and down, rocky roller coaster here. But looking into Brad, there's like Kathy is saying, there's like this lack of definition in him. It's like when I look at his thoughts, his feelings towards you, it's like things haven't defined them. It's like he needs this persistence. He needs constantly reminded. Um, and weirdly, the one thing that I'm feeling, the kind of saving grace, is that he feels like he wants to get lost within you. But here's the frustrating part: is when I am looking at his intentions, his desires, what he wants with you, I am being shown he does want a feeling of abundance. He wants to feel like there's a lot of growth. There's a lot to be shared with one another. He wants to like pool all of your energy, your resources, but he wants you to do it. Like he wants you to be the one to initiate it and to kind of take care of it. It reminds me of a sort of a living situation where it's like husband and wife, where the husband might go to work, but the wife has to take care of the kids, has to clean, has to do all the cooking, probably has to mow the lawn, like everything. So it doesn't feel like there's a lot of personal responsibility here on Brad's part as far as a maintaining of the connection and relationship. So this is a tough one. You got to decide, how much you are willing to give here, because he could easily take.
He could.
This is tough. It is really tough. Because I
He's
can
going to
feel
tell.
this. He's
Oh,
gorgeous and talented.
he's the musician. Is that right?
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Um, I remember him now. That it makes sense though with his energy. Um,
I feel this weird, like spiritual, emotional pull though, but it's just like it's always offset by something like difficult. It's either the stagnancy, it's either the distance. It's always kind of like offset in some ways.
Yeah, don't be a groupie. I know what you're getting at, though. I know what you're saying. I really feel like, here's the interesting thing. Don't be like a groupie, if that makes any sense, because I really feel like that could be where a little bit of his confusion is coming in. Like, did she just like me as this, or is she, kind of that? And I feel like Matt might have something to do with it. He does he does. I'm trying to put this into some sort of energy that makes sense. It feels like he wants the flattery, he wants the recognition, he wants the attention, but it almost feels like to pull back a little bit in the you can still congratulate somebody and be that cheerleader, but you also don't want to get yourself into that, like I said, groupie category, right? Because you want him to take you seriously on that energy of a relationship. And I do feel that there's a little bit of confusion in there in regards to that. So
Yeah,
he does really like you, though. There's no doubt about that. Like,
there's
there's
a
no,
definite pull. There's a
yeah,
definite pull. He likes to
like,
be lost in your cloud.
yeah.
That's how I'm showing it. But what I am showing though, Sarah, is that, or Olivia, that what really makes this stick is your loyalty. You've always been a pretty loyal person, and it is through that energy. It's through that sense of loyalty, the feeling of reliability, and the genuine, friendship and energy that you extend to him. That's really what creates that solidified bond between you. And I feel like that's the energy. When I ask Spirit, what can you be doing? What should you be focusing on to allow a sort of stronger bond and bridge? That's what they're showing me, is to make sure
Mhm.
that that is seen, because that's what's going to carry it forward.
I hope that gave you some clarity.
What an interesting connection, though. I mean, you're on a roller
It
coaster,
really
and
is.
you already know you're on a roller coaster, right?
Mhm.
You already know it. You know what you signed up for.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Last is Sarah. Sarah with an H.
Oh, that strong eighth house. There you go. You already know. Okay, our Sarah with an H. Is she still here? Is she still here? Hope so. If so, she wants to know, will me and Keith sort things out, or is it over for good? I'm a Gemini, and Keith is also Gemini.
Um, no, I don't feel it's done. There does need to be a distance, though, for right now. I do feel that both of you are in a place of overthinking. There's a lot of overthinking energy. Did you stand up for yourself, Sarah, in some way? Because it feels as though I'm kind of getting a bit of a pouting energy from him in some manner. Like, did you speak up or stand up or put him in his place, something like that? Did you say Sarah was still on? Was she
I
here?
haven't seen her. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
okay. I don't feel that this is done. But there does need to be a distance within the energy right now. It kind of feels as though, and especially him, it feels as though he needs to get into a place where he sorts out his direction, his overthinking, all of the. I really feel like he needs to look at something on a logical, but also emotional level. Um, Basically, allowing, instead of getting into a place of being anger about his emotions or reacting out of his emotions, he needs to be in this place where he collects himself, really does some thinking, and then reacts. And I feel kind of like you do too. I feel like there does need to be some distance here. I don't know when this fight was or anything like that, but it does feel there needs to be a couple of weeks of both of you just in a place of emotional separation in order to ground yourselves, in order to come back in a different emotional manner, but it's going to be a little bit more logical of a manner, if that makes any sense. Like it just feels like you're both of you are sort of reacting out of strong emotions, but there needs to be a little bit. I mean, here's the thing, Geminis are logical, but they can be overly analytical and overthinking. And so it just needs to take that and kind of channel it where it's supposed to go, rather than where it's all over the place at the moment.
That's such a great way to put it. I mean, there's not else much to say because you hit pretty much every nail that I was connecting to. I do feel like there was a really intense intimacy or something that really ripped open. And I am feeling this emotional now disconnect. It was like it was overwhelming, and then all of a sudden, emotion just stopped. So I am feeling that sort of disconnect. It is all in the emotional realm here. It's interesting. I don't see the exact situation or the occurrence or why this happened. But either way, it is denoting the fact that they're kind of out of alignment now. But when I'm looking into Keith specifically, what I am shown is that right now he doesn't know in what direction to come towards you or to initiate. He's still very much focused on this like breakdown. He's very much focused on like, how do I get my own sense of harmony back? You know, how do I even, I am feeling actually a lot of like negative self-talk. Like I'm feeling him being like, I'm not, you know, this, I'm not that, I'm not worthy of this, or you know, there's a lot of weights I can feel on him. And maybe you don't see that, and that could also be part of the problem too. Um, so that's why I'm kind of looking at what he wants or his intentions, and I am being shown that he does want to communicate. You know, there is a feeling of like, okay, we need to talk about this. I do feel a reliability on you that he has for his own sense of self-understanding and maybe even some self-worth too. Maybe that is why he's a little bit hard or feeling bad about himself because of everything that had transpired between the both of you. But when I do ask Spirit, like what's to come between the two of you in the future, what I am shown is quite an abundance of talking. I am shown a lot of communication. I am shown that it does feel to be a positive effect in your connection. But this is like your sort of mutual zone, your little safe zone between the two of you. You two can gab and talk and even gossip and, you know, just really keep that motor running. It's just that sometimes when you try to talk too much or maybe even intellectualize the emotions and the feelings, that's where things get lost in translation. That's where, you know, the emotional disconnection can really happen, and then it escalates out of control, and then you talk about it and then you create more of that disconnect, so it kind of can run into this, you know, run a circle into the ground, so to speak. So I think really having this time for an emotional break right now is definitely a healthy thing. But I do see the two of you coming back into a communication. It does
Mm-hmm.
feel quite positive, and it feels like, you know, you're going to be able to talk yourselves into coming back together. But really, the most important thing is that you've got to find ways to express emotions without the other
Mm-hmm.
taking it personally. You can't take how the other person is feeling too personal. They're just trying to share how they're feeling, and they can, because you two can talk so much, you can share how you even got there, but try not to take it too personally about how they are feeling. It's not like you guys are trying to throw it onto each other. You may have in the past, but that's not the goal. You're just trying to get each other to understand how and why you feel the way that you do. So try, that's the biggest piece of advice. Don't take it too personal.
I also feel too, one of the last things I'm hearing here also is the fact that make sure you're in a place of knowing what it is that you want before you know, you guys maybe have this conversation or start conversing again or whatever, because the clearer you are, it's going to allow the communication to be more progressive. It's going to allow it to be in a place of being more open. If you're sort of flip-floppy where it is, that could create more flip-floppiness from him. Okay. So I hope you understand what I'm saying there, but be clear about what it is that you want out of this before take the next couple of weeks. You know, it might not even take that long before you guys are in communication again, but do take this time to really sit there and go, okay, what is it that I want out of this? What is it that I want? Because the clearer you are, the better it's going to be. So, I think we're through our list. I just want to say, we can do one quick lotto question. What do you think, Brandon?
Ooh, who hung on for the lottery and didn't expect a lotto question to be answered today? I think we can do one quick one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we
Let's
definitely have gone
let's
over
do
time,
it.
but I know I'm happy we can, because I know y'all have been waiting, and I want to be able to hook them up with something here. So, all right, we've got Esha. All right, our number 2 is here.
Brandon, I'm gonna let
Melody
you
is
do that. I
still
have to
here.
wash him. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be good, but I'm not. It's not. So I'll be right back. You go through the list.
Okay. So Esha, Melody. I know Jenny left. Jenny's gone. Number 2, number 4. We got Shyla here. Do we got Emily here? Let's see who all is left, because y'all are champs for hanging in there for so long. I know I am getting ready to go eat some dinner because I am hungry. And then maybe finish watching one of my shows. Let's see if y'all can guess what I'm watching now or listening to now. I'm kind of curious if you get it. No, that's too ambiguous. That's way too ambiguous. That's too hard. Oh, yay. January PB, Shyla. Awesome. All right, let's see here. So we've got number 2, number 4, number 6. A podcast, maybe. No. Actually, I've been watching Cheer. It's so good. I love it. This is such a great show. Also, it's in Texas. Obviously, I live in Texas. Can't help it. And yeah. Indie music. What did I just listen to? God. I listen to honestly all sorts of things. I often listen to frequencies, tones, soundscapes, all of that. But no, I've been watching Cheer. I can't help it. It's so good. I'm totally sucked in.
All right. What's this about a podcast? Who's doing a podcast?
I was seeing if they could guess what I was listening to or watching. And it was like, oh, some cool indie music. Oh no, like pop, like BS.
Too funny. Is Dionysus still here? I wanted to say hi to him.
He had
I saw
left.
that he was in the hospital. So healing vibes to you, Dionysus. It's good to see you. So if he's still here, I'm not sure if he's still kicking around or not, but
No, he had left. Hopefully everything's good.
okay. What was the number you picked?
I haven't picked yet. Let's pretend we are psychics and we guess it without you telling us. That was funny. All right, well, we've got a couple people here. We've got Melody, Esha, and Shyla. I haven't heard from Emily, Miss Emily Rosa yet, but let me pull up the random number generator and we'll see who we got. So 2s through 6, 2 to 6. Because a couple left. All right, are we ready? Drum roll, please.
I have bad timing. I have no
Number
rhythm.
6. Number 6.
Okay, who's number 6?
That is Shyla, January BB.
Yay.
All right, so her name is Shyla, and Shyla is Pisces. And she would like to know, will I find love soon?
Not for a bit yet. Okay. It depends on what your definition of soon is. If you mean next week, no. If you mean in the next couple of months, there's a very good possibility of somebody coming through here. I feel for some reason, Shyla, I do feel that there is this energy here that you have to, this is what I'm hearing, is that you have to define love for yourself first. And I'm not exactly sure why that's coming through. It kind of feels as though, I keep feeling this energy that you may want to jump into love. Whereas what I'm getting from your energy, it feels as though, okay, I'm getting some energy here that you have definitely been through people that are very superficial towards you, is what I keep getting. It almost feels as though you've gotten a lot of false personas from people. And I feel that this could be coming through simply because of the fact that I do feel that you have a good personality. I feel that you're very, very attractive on the outside. And I feel like there's a little bit of energy here where you have been disappointed by people thinking that they had a better intention perhaps than what they had. And there might have even been some sort of energy here of a long-term relationship, in the past, or maybe this was a longer friendship or something like that. But it does feel as though maybe perhaps it was more like a surface relationship. It almost feels like you've dealt with relationships in the past where you thought that people, this is hard, not hard for me to pick up. It must have been hard, where you feel like you thought that they really cared about you. And there might have been an energy there that they were just like something came out or something was said where it had to do with like your looks or something along that line. Like it just feels like you just want somebody to get to know you, is what I keep getting. You want somebody to take the time to get to know Shyla. And I hope does this make sense to you? You can comment, below too, but it does feel that there is this energy here. And I feel like, so when we talk about is love coming in, I do feel that there is, but I do feel that what needs to happen here is for you to define exactly what it is that you're seeking first.
There's a strong reason for that.
Yeah, and you have to allow them to prove it first.
Yes. You
before
totally.
jumping into, like, it's time for Shyla to basically say, you show me what you have, because you see what I have, but you show me that you want to get to know who I am inside first. And that's what it really feels like.
There's such a beautiful soul within Shyla. There's like this, I mean, I do feel like there's such a deep wealth of understanding. I feel like she's been taken advantage of because of this like level of understanding. I mean, you are very, very sensitive. You do have a psychic
She is
awareness,
very, very
Shyla.
sensitive. Yeah.
Like you do have this like psychic awareness to you, and you want something that is real and deep and spiritual and purposeful, and that brings you open to this world, and it's something that just really feels blended. I know I talked about this concept earlier, and I can feel it again now. It's like that no separation of self. And unfortunately, you've gotten in connection with people who did take advantage in some way. So what I am being shown is that within February, I do feel like there is going to be a lot of emphasis this month on that heart being opened up. I even feel a connection kind of coming through, but this is not something that I feel is going to last. So as far as your question, is love going to enter my life? Hell yeah, it's going to enter in February, but is it going to last? Well, don't count on that. But what's happening is it's because you have this ability to align in so many different ways. And honestly, with so many different people, it's probably super confusing for you to be like, well, I'm not sure who I'm going to be with because I feel like I can connect to this person and this person and this person and this person. There's something very universal about your love and the way that you can love, that it's probably honestly very confusing for you to figure out who you ultimately want to end up. And that's what Kathy is telling you, is to define what you want to experience in a relationship. Do you want loyalty? Do you want somebody who is, very in your face and direct? Or do you want somebody who communicates very laid back? Like, define the energy that you want to experience in a relationship, because you do have such a universal understanding of people. I am being shown something coming in as far as May of this year as being a lot more solid. There's something about this familiarity during, it feels like Taurus season. It's this Taurus energy, Taurian season that really sits well with your soul. It's like somebody that you can literally like rest your head on their chest and feel comforted and feel safe. And there's something about this fluidity of you and the solidness of them that just really kind of sticks well. So I would definitely advise you to start looking at somebody who's got a solid, reliable energy for sure.
It's interesting what she says here. She's never really let anyone get that close to her.
Oh, that is interesting. What we mean by taking advantage, that can be so many different things. We're not talking like physically, or we're not talking abuse or anything like that. It's just somebody leading you on in some way is like that, taking advantage of.
I feel like that was my dog deciding that he was going to chime in and do his own reading over there. But it's interesting that Brandon said May, because I feel like you could even meet this person around March. But again, taking that time, to get to know them. I really feel that you need somebody to get to know you, but that goes both ways. So it's time for you to perhaps also open your heart and allow somebody to get close to you as well.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time with this. I do feel it being more in the beginning of this year than in the like. I do feel that if you allow yourself to open, if you allow yourself to connect, you do get a lot of energy from people. Like you can be very sensitive. You can pick, and I kind of feel like too is that has in some way prevented you from opening up, simply because you might feel somebody's energy before they even really have to do too much. But at the same time, you might only be reading the top surface of their energy. Okay. So you might not be reading their full energy. You might feel them, and you might feel, oh, they're like this. You might not be consciously thinking of that, but your body may move away from the energetic, or the like, it's like that opposite of the magnet, where you kind of move away simply because of the fact that you are picking up someone on some of their energy. But just maybe practice over this next month or so, is allowing yourself to open up and explore what it is that you're picking up from somebody, instead of just getting the surface level. And you start this with friends. you know, friends, family, because it feels as though, you know, you might hit the surface and then you kind of bounce back. So you're like, no, I don't want to go there. You know what I mean? Hit the surface. So allow yourself to do, with people that you feel safe with first, allow yourself to do an exploration energetically first. And this will help you when you encounter other people. And it'll also start really helping to open up your heart energy as well. So I hope that helped. Yeah, she feels energy very quick, and it's very heavy. And really that just has to do with the fact of being, you know, she's Pisces, right? But also just um grounding will help as well. So that will really make a big difference. So guys, thank you so much for
Thank
tuning in.
you.
You can reach me at oracleintuitions.com on my webpage. You can book an appointment through there. You can even watch the show. You can take a look at some of the
Mhm.
things that I create that are for sale. Brandon, where can they reach you?
Head over to thedreamteacher.com. It is with the Dream Teacher, all one little address bar. So thedreamteacher.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much again, guys. Join us next Wednesday at 6:00 p.m. Mountain Time. We will be here. Take care. Have a great week.
Bye,
Thanks so
everybody.
much. Bye.